Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing today? We are over here. Thanks for joining us over here on Shadowban Lane, where we live. Um, they keep us
Yep.
far from Main Street, but that's okay. At this point, it's a compliment. The more they shadow ban us, the more we know we're right about something. So, Kresha and Larene, how are you ladies doing on this fine Wednesday?
How's it feel to be right, Larene?
I mean, it's sad. My stomach is constantly in knots and it's horrific, but we are right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
right. I don't want to be right. It's like, ew, really? I don't want to be right. Anyways, yeah, we're just waffling in it, I guess. I don't know what this is.
It is so
Crazy town.
it's so much. And since the release of the emails, we were talking about this backstage, and most of my audience, I'm sure most of your audience, Kresha, um, we've known about this. Like, this is kind of, everything that Kresha has researched for herself, everything I've researched in my 6 years on the YouTube streets, as well as, we were saying I read WikiLeaks back in 2016, long before I'd ever even considered a YouTube channel. So we've been aware of this club, we'll say. What's it? George Carlson said it's just one big club and we ain't in it. I'm very
We
glad
ain't it.
not to be in that club.
Thank God. High five.
I was born into it, but I got out. Thank
I've
God.
never wanted to be rejected so bad.
I
You
know.
know? Oh my God.
Just very happy not to be very happy that how does it feel, audience and ladies, to know we're not in the Epstein, we're not in the
Well,
Epstein files.
I haven't checked my name, so I don't know. I would
So,
crap.
well, some people are in it, like Sean Atwood. He's in it because
Mhm.
apparently he was stalking, like not stalking. He was outside of Ghislaine Maxwell's house, like trying to get. So
Oh,
sometimes people are in the emails because the club is bitching about them. Like these people.
yeah.
So if your name's in the email for that reason because you were threatening them, their existence, then maybe that's all right. So I don't even know. I know I said Epstein and the Mormons. We're open to talk about a lot of things today. There's a lot. I
Mhm.
told Lorraine, I texted the other day, I have literally, for some reason, have found myself into the bowels of anti-Mormon TikTok, and I love it.
I've never been.
I just keep getting these. I keep sending Lorraine like all these.
They are very entertaining. Thank you for sending them because they are giving me some good laughs.
I'm gonna have to go
Yes,
find it because I mean I
I'll
want to be entertained.
I can
Oh
send you
man.
some. There's like, absolutely, Megan. There was like one, like what when your sibling leaves the Mormon church, and there's like, I knew it. Like, it's so excited.
I'm so excited to talk to you. Yes, you got
Yeah.
out.
Can we be
Out.
friends again? Yeah.
So, and as I've said many times, I think, Kresha, now I know that your uncle, Charles, converted to the LDS church, but neither Kresha nor I were raised Mormon. But
Yeah.
Lorraine, I was born. Listen. I thought the scariest thing were the church ladies in the Protestant churches in the South, my part of the South. They're kind of scary. Those church ladies, they have these prayer circles, and that's their
Mm-mm.
way of gossiping. So if your name ever ends up
Mhm.
in a prayer circle, I was homesick once from school in high school. My mama had her prayer circle over, and I swear to God, all they did was gossip, but in prayer.
Right? That's what they
What?
do, at least the people that I've researched, all around, Lori and them. I mean, if not, they're casting out or, healing parties or touching parties or snuggle parties or whatever the fuck they're doing. Sorry.
Could you
Whatever the frick
imagine a
they're
snuggle
doing.
party with Chad Daybell? Gross.
That was a portal party. Whatever.
LDS are like,
Ew.
hold my beer. Yes, absolutely.
Hold my non-alcoholic beer. Hold
Hold
my, Red Bull or whatever.
right, right. So, and of course we're laughing because sometimes all you can do is laugh, guys. So, Lorene, I know
Hypocrisy.
you're on a time frame because you're a working lady. What would Joseph Smith say about that, Lorene? Aren't you supposed to be at home barefoot?
You have 10% to pay?
That's why I went so hard at my career, and I started working at 14 because Hy-Vee would hire you if you like could push carts and stock the
Oh,
shelves and do little things and work a couple hours. So I was working as soon as I possibly could to get out of my house.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, that was not what they expect the women to do.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with being a trad wife. Like my sister's a trad wife, but my sister's husband is amazing, and like my sister kind of controls the finances anyway. So, but in the
Mhm.
situation, the Mormon church is very, very controlling. It's very almost like women aren't even human, and that's we're just like cattle, which
We're breeders.
yeah.
Basically, we all are anyway. So,
If you
Well, yeah,
yeah.
we're the
if you've
Yeah.
never seen Saturday's Warrior, that
Mhm.
is Mormon gold. It's from the 80s, and it is about how they need just that one more child that is waiting from them on the other side. And
I-
a lot of people end up using that as an excuse of, I also felt that urge to have just one
Or
more
I think we've
baby.
been married before in a past life.
Mm, yeah.
I wonder, okay, so my question real quick, that brought this up, with Saturday's Warrior and that whole concept of we've been married before in a past life, so it's justified, it's okay. So to some, okay? But so where did Saturday's Warrior get the idea from? Because I mean, it's just a show. So how again, Imma say how long has this been going on, but I already kinda know the answer. I just because it started from the beginning of time with the secret combinations and all that stuff,
And
right?
they all
I
came
mean
over on the Mayflower and
yes.
all went west on their handcart in their handcarts on Brigham Young's um, push, and they all ended up in Utah, where they can
Did
just
you
build
know
their own state of Deseret and have their hive mind and work little busy bees.
raising each other's kids, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I
Kresha,
mean, so I remember Lori having or I remember hearing this, and I remember seeing it, a time or 2, I just don't know where right at this moment, but not only did Lori have, like, this there's this James and Elena, which, anyways, I don't think it was just given by Chad, I think it's just they went through the temple and earned those names, okay? Um, and so there was also this talk of Lori being Mary French, which was, like, Joseph Smith's great or grandmother, or I don't know, it's been a long time since I looked at it, but and I wanna say that it had to do with the Mayflower, because I mean, I was like, "How the hell am I looking at, like, constitution theocratic," you know? That's when I learned what a theocracy was, is basically looking up all these Mayflower Compact. That was some just things that they say, and I'm just like, "That's so" it stands out like a sore thumb, it doesn't go. I
what's
don't know.
interesting? You saying that, Kresha, it is, and I've always felt that way studying the Salem witch trial. And I know Heidi has already looked into like the Salem witch trials. I have said from day one, it was not the people that they executed; it was the executioners that were practicing the witchcraft and were practicing the black magic. It wasn't the people that they
Mhm.
that they inverted it, right? That they
Sounds
inverted
like
it.
satanic ritual abuse or ritual abuse with the, that's they label it and they blame, they project, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's my takeaway from it
Yeah,
yeah.
I
is
actually got recently for Christmas a book of the Goulds of Massachusetts because that is my family line. And there was a guy going around all of that northeast area and going about on the Quaker route. So I don't know much about that, but I'm starting to learn. And he was obviously around in that time when they were doing that. So when as soon as Heidi mentioned Gould name, I like my stomach dropped, and I'm like, that's my mom's side that was not raised Mormon, so I'm getting it from both sides and creating
wow.
some very interesting dharma for me. I'm learning.
Well, and that's the thing. We can't help who our ancestors, and that's one thing. We're 6 degrees of separation from somebody,
Uh,
right? And that's one thing
right.
I hope people watching understand that.
Well, well,
Crush is a little more
I
than six
mean,
degrees of
no,
separation.
I'm just saying, like, Lauren and, Lauren Matthias
Yeah.
and all that, and then she ends up being, and now I found this out from a source, I can't reveal my source, but source said that, Tom Harrison, Visions of Glory, uh, that's
Hmm.
his book, okay?
Yeah.
That's his alleged experiences. I think it's just, whatever, a
This
cult.
point,
It's the
yeah,
occult is what it is.
it is.
Yeah. And it turns out that Lauren's brother that died, Jameis, the one that, the Wu-Tang Clan, and I don't understand all that stuff yet. Okay. Like what the big deal is, I'm just like, something's not sitting right with me. I can't let it go. My gut will tell me when it's okay to do so. It is not. But it turns out that Lauren's brother that died was friends with Tom Harrison, best friends with Tom Harrison's son. That's a big that's big to me.
Yeah.
That's huge. Why would you not ever say that, Lauren?
Yeah.
Their
Trans-
Why?
circle is actually very small when you really look at it. There are certain names that stand out, and there are family members that believe that they are elite above everybody else. And so
Mhm.
they keep it in the group and in the family.
It just drives me
well,
nuts.
and I kind of want to get a little bit into that with the bloodlines and what blood means, but you guys, because I think what we're learning, and this is something like this is listen, I read the Book of Mormon because I'm nosy. I'm very nosy. I always want to know what people believe. And this was like this was before I was on YouTube. This might have even been before WikiLeaks. I read the Book of Mormon and I was like, this is boring, but yet wild at the same time, and all the temple secrets. I'm like, this is crazy, but tell me more. Like it's kind of like, what are these weirdos doing? No offense. What are they doing? Like, what is happening? Like, so and I thank God I did that because it has given me more insight as we've moved into this great whatever you want to call it, the great reveal, we'll say, of what's happening in our world right now. Because when we look at Mormonism, it's kind of there's a magnifying glass on all of these rituals that are happening in other groups as well. So, do you guys want to, with everything in the Epstein emails? I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm super laid back about this. Do you guys want to start with like necromancy and blood ritual? Do you want to start with the emails?
All right.
Jump right into it, guys. We're going to jump right into it.
Yeah, we're getting dark up in here.
Yeah. So,
Partly cloudy. Mhm.
we're
My like, one thing that I realized that I don't know if this is even a thing, but, just trying to figure out what happened, especially with Tylee and JJ. They were kids. They had no way out. They couldn't just, leave, they depended on their mom, their home life, their security, their, comfort, and, family, not just their parents, but, anyways, that I don't wanna go into all that, but because it would take, 9 years, but, so what I learned or noticed was that, they do these temple dedications, okay? Where if you're not a Mormon, you can actually go in and do a tour. I don't think my body rebukes it. Okay. It won't. I just can't be in the same area. But, and so then I remember running across General Conference because why not? Right. Because every non-Mormon watches General Conference. Anyways, actually, I was sent a video from my friend Jen, and it was about them doing the Hosanna shout, and I'm like, "White handkerchiefs," and this whole, like, congregation gets up and they're like, "Hosanna, Hosanna," I don't even wanna repeat it, and I'm just like, "What is this?" It freaked me out, and then I started doing some digging, and I just kind of the way my brain works, it's like I can kinda get the gist of what's going on, like, I'm kinda picking up what they're putting down, and to me, and at that time, you know, um, I feel like what happened in with the kids and this is just me just being me, just my speculation. Whenever they stood up in general conference after the kids died, was that and they did Hosanna, the Hosanna shout, was that like to, I guess, seal the deal, like to mass ritual I don't even know what that's called, but, when they get everybody to participate, that's my thing, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, what if that's tied to this?" And, anyways, it's
I'm
wild.
sure it's all tied together. There's a lot that is coming out with the abuse stories for the SRA that
Mm,
people end up coming to the reality of what their situation is when they go through the temple to get married, to get sealed to their spouse for the
right,
first time, because they do those same type of rituals in these covens and in these the Church of Satan of LDS. And so, yes, I think those chants are a big deal. Like, I remember doing a lot of chanting, and the songs and the sing-songy voice that they use in General Conference, and that Sweet Relief Society voice that has that little touch on it. Like, I
And
can still
Cry
do
on
it. Look at
Demand.
that. Yes.
Cry on
Yeah.
Demand is, or that like pity voice. It's like, I mean, Lauren did it during her 9-hour live. I mean, just sang.
It's taught to us from a very, very young age, brainwashed into our brains. Yes, very
It
much
goes
so.
beyond manipulation, which black magic is all manipulation, but it kind of goes beyond it, and it reminds me of Michelle Duggar, that voice from the IBLP, which is another cult. Not a Mormon cult, but it's another cult.
I'm pretty sure they got a lot of their stuff from the Mormons, though, just like Scientology did.
It'll end up being one cult anyway. So, that's what they're driving to.
I'm sure IBLP is going to play with polygamy at some point. You know what's so funny? I've said this before when I went through the missing books of the Bible, which was so enlightening. But going through the missing books of the Bible, you could tell why they eliminated some of the books they did, because there would be no conglomerate religions if they had the book saying, like, you're all good, bro. Like, you're fine. Like, basically, is what the missing books say, is like, you got nothing to worry about. You're fine. Go
God's within.
God's within. It's fine. You're good. You can't control people with that. So now I know why they took those out. But in one of the missing books of the Bible, and I cannot remember which one it is, they were asking Jesus, Yeshua, about teacher, tell us about the relationship of marriage. Like, what? And he was really nonchalant about it. He basically even said, like, if you don't have love for each other, then you should separate. He said the one relationship that is an abomination is, guess what? Polygamy, which is interesting because
like,
I'm like, that makes sense. Like, that kind of makes sense. It's trafficking, like,
first thing they did. They're like, check, we'll do this. We'll do this. And we'll do polygamy.
Exactly. That sounds like a great idea. Let me tell you. I noticed with Joseph Smith too, what, like a lot of cult leaders, and any vice that a cult leader has becomes doctrine. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
We see that with the Cassiopean cult, and the cult that's functioning right now, that every vice Laura, the leader, has becomes like her protection. It's the same thing with Joseph. He obviously was a philanderer, and instead of just admitting that he had an issue, he made it doctrine. And
anybody who says that they're going to translate the Bible correctly has a narcissistic personality disorder, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Or
absolutely.
Right. When you want to become your own God, that's pretty narcissistic.
Yes. I have a memory of being a little girl at like a vacation Bible school. I remember what I was wearing: black shirt, pink shorts. I was tiny. I don't know. And we were singing that song, Father Abraham had many sons, at Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all be that song you sing. And I remember as a little girl being like grossed out with that in my stomach. I was like, Abraham's not my father. Like, I remember being like, ew. Like, yeah, Abraham. The thing about the Old Testament, if you look at the missing books of the Bible, you're like, oh shit, the Old Testament really should not be a part of the canonized Bible. It just shouldn't. It's not talked fondly upon. And then you look at the missing books of the Old Testament, which, listen, y'all, if you want some spicy reading, let's just be honest.
I understand it.
The Old Testament. Crazy. The Old Testament is way more spicy than the New Testament. Like, that's the page turner, right? Like, they're
like Enoch, because that's where a lot of, Chad allegedly called himself Enoch, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, bullshit. And I mean, now I say that because I know better.
Yeah,
but
there's missing books of Moses, where Moses talks about these different demons that you can pray to and that you can use for your betterment, because Moses means master warlock, right?
What?
One of them's name is Jehovah.
To Jehovah. God and them.
That is the name of a demon. Now, what's interesting, Yahweh is another name. Yahweh is Moloch. So for all the crunchy Christians who say Yahweh, you might want to check on the etymology of that. You might not be talking about the same God you think you're talking about. Now, what's interesting though, I was telling you guys, so there's missing books from the Old Testament, and then the Gnostic books are the New Testament ones. So there are missing books from the Old Testament. as
And
well.
I
And that's
don't
what
know
I'm
the
talking
difference,
about.
so
The
I
Old
just say whatever. Sorry.
Um,
I don't know
yeah,
if I'd call
exactly.
that.
That's exactly. It's so funny. We have
Mm.
JWs that are at the end of Piedmont Park, and we walk by them all the time. And my boyfriend's always like, "What are you going to say something?" I was like, "No, I'm not going to say anything." He goes, "What if they say something to you?" I was like, "Then I'll say something." And then I'll be like, "That's a demon. That's a demon." And y'all don't celebrate birthdays, boo. At least in between Mormons and the JWs, at least the Mormons have parties. Well, they might not have alcohol, but
They're taking more on
Some of
every
their
year. Yeah,
um,
the generations pass. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll do Easter. Oh, we'll do." I've never seen so many religious people be so excited about Halloween
mhm.
ever. I'm just like, now that I know different, I'm just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe." I
Yeah,
just feel duped all the way around, even though I wasn't super I was raised Catholic, so, mm,
yeah.
they're a
It's
bit misled too.
all the big religions, and that's what gets me with like the extreme Christians. Is that
Mm,
we know now, all these like extreme Christians that claim to be like awake. And I'm like, so that our politics are corrupt, education's corrupt, medicine's corrupt, all these things are corrupt. But you think your religion is the one that's not corrupt?
mhm.
You really think the biggest religion in the world is not corrupt? It absolutely is. I mean, I've done a whole deep dive on King James. The Bible we have today, regardless of whether you have the King James version or like the NIV, it's all come from the King James. That wasn't the real. He was a Satanist. Like, this is documented fact. King James was a Satanist. I mean, the
Mhm.
Freemason website still has him up
Yep.
as a master
That's the
warlock.
Bible, that's why Joseph Smith. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah,
he used that. And there are a lot of
Yeah.
similar verses that come out of the Old Testament, almost word for word, that are in the Book of Mormon. And so the
So
Mormons will use that as prophecy. He got it right because it's also in the Old Testament. So see, he got it right too. Well, he had it. Like it's called
yeah.
plagiarism.
It's called They Lied, okay? They all lied. And the more and more I'm learning about how much I've been lied to about so many freaking things about the world that I live in, why not that too? Why would that be off limits? Really? Oh, and it's the one thing for sure that, people cling to. I don't know. They make it seem like it's free choice and like we have this a mind of our own and that we're not being controlled in some sense, and we are. And it's crazy. Whether it be politics, religion, you name it. It's
yeah.
yeah, they've got a plan for that.
All
I
of it has been inverted and is satanic.
And they're
100%.
making money off of it for
Hmm.
sure.
Off of
so
our backs.
if
Yep.
you guys are not familiar, we've been doing this on my channel for I actually put the documents up on Substack and RUMBLE. I don't know if I can say that platform yet on YouTube, because YouTube gets funny about that, because these documents would never last. My channel would get taken down. And these are the documents by Sergei Monast. Now, many people might not know who Sergei. Have you heard of Sergei Monast, Kresha? I know you have, Larene. Have you heard of
I was
Sergei?
about to go look at your Substack.
Sergey was a French Canadian badass. That little Frenchy French guy, so cute. He unfortunately lost his life in the 90s, because he was one of the first people. I think I gave some of the files to Todd. I have a bunch of his files. Is this it? Anyway, yep. This is some of them I have here. He is that all? No, that's anyway. He was this guy who, in French Canadian journalist, and he was actually an investigator, like a real life. I know it's weird, guys. We don't really have journalists anymore. We just have actors now. But once upon a time, people actually did investigative
Amen.
journalism. They actually, and he found all of this stuff about this like New World Order. Now, this was in like the 80s and the 90s. And
Mhm.
so, can you imagine? Like, people were like,
Nope.
"You crazy son of a bitch! What are you talking about?"
Mm-mm.
And he figured out that there was an operation called Blue Beam. All right.
Okay.
So he was the first person to bring Blue Beam to an English speaking audience. And it's so funny because these documents in here, he's translated them from French to English, and bless his heart, because my French is terrible, but you can definitely tell yeah, I have to, when I'm reading it, I have to kind of go back and look because there's some misspellings. But
Yeah.
thank you, Sergey, for in a time when there wasn't even like really that many computers for doing this to help humanity. And he figured out that with Project Bluebeam, what their plan was, and he goes through it with these documents word verbatim. They are going to be putting a hologram Jesus in the sky and getting
I could imagine it. It's going to be like some like trailer park type
I mean,
stuff.
hologram
You know?
Jesus right in the sky, and it's going to tell you to
Oh.
do things. It's going to have you submit to the NWO. And basically, he talked about like mind to skull technology, where you're going to hear.
Whoa. Hold on, Urch. This reminds me of that. What's that? The name of that thing that was supposed to be coming here, that was on its way to our, to Earth. It was supposed to get here
Oh,
in
the
November.
three-eye
Yeah,
atlas
what
thing.
it's called.
Oh, like
Yeah,
that could have been like, don't trust any of
that
you.
is
Yeah,
what I was. No, I'm not. But
yeah.
I'm like,
No, for our
what
audience.
what they got going, like what? And so here, when you say Jesus hologram Jesus,
Like
that would pair up really nice.
well, it
Just
goes
saying.
even deeper, guys. So again, I'm very nosy and I'm very petty. So a lot of my channel, when we started to like uncover these secrets about the world, I love history because all history is just gossip. That's all it is gossip. And so I started to study these different historical people to try to find patterns, right? Because the human brain recognizes patterns, and we can kind of see this club's been around for thousands of years, right? And so we can see their patterning. Well, one of the families that I did a deep dive in is called the Borgias. Now, listen, it was an HBO Showtime. One of those did a whole TV drama about the Borgias. And if your
I remember
family,
following you on this. I do.
they're really fun to study. The Borgias, they're so disgusting. And I say, like, I'm glad we don't live in their time, but we also live in a time of Hillary Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. So I don't know how
And their
different it is.
family. So,
Yeah, and their descendants.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the Borgias, the Pope Alexander, what was the sixth? He was the Pope, and he had children, which was common back then. They weren't pure, they know. They were practicing Satanists, they practiced incest, all sorts of stuff. But Cesare, one of the sons, is the Jesus painting. That's the Jesus painting, is Cesare Borgia. So for everyone's grandma who's got a painting of Jesus with the Pantene Pro
It depends. Yeah. It depends on where you're at.
that's Cesare Borgia. And
No,
so
I mean, there's, everybody's Jesus looks different. And just a little bit.
hair. And so
Like Lori and Chad, they did a whole podcast with Melanie Gibb about, Jesus having sandy blonde hair and blue eyes, and her eyes were so blue. And I mean, I was like, oh my God. It was like, I'm sorry, cover your ears. It was like soft Jesus, you know what?
oh no, honey, there was
White and delightsome.
There you go. Ew.
yeah. Oh, I learned something new
It's
about
disgusting.
Mormon Bible. So I didn't know. I told Larene I didn't know this, that Joseph Smith actually translated a Bible too. So Mormons have a different Bible than like mainstream Christian, which is all King James shit anyway. But I didn't know that in Mormon Bible, they actually said that the mark of Cain was the color of the skin. That's not in our Bible.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember telling my friend Jen that I was like, Jesus and Satan aren't brothers, right? And she was like, what? I mean, no, she had already left the church, and I mean, it threw her for a loop. I felt bad, because I was just like, oh, it's those things.
Kresha,
Yeah.
that's an important thing to note, because Larene and I have spoken about that. There's some like foundational doctrine when it comes to God, even that is not like Mormon God and Mormon Jesus are not mainstream God and mainstream Jesus.
So what I started to kind of wonder is, how they say that Chad was going to start his own Church of the Firstborn, build it right there in the same town, right? With 28,000 people, because, why not have a temple competition or something? I don't know. It makes no sense. But he was starting the Church of the Firstborn, but come to find out, it's at the core of everything is laced and drenched in just in this idea. 144,000 Church of the Firstborn, new millennium.
Yeah, so the Church of the Firstborn,
Is
there
that
are some really deep and dark roots to that. And Joseph Smith and his wife Emma had altogether, I believe it was 11 children that she birthed. And the first one they named after Joseph Smith's brother. His name was Alvin. And the first baby that Emma had was very deformed, was not born alive. And shortly after that is when Joseph Smith got his golden plates. So the Church of the Firstborn is about sacrificing your firstborn.
It's a club and we ain't in it because we still have I'm the oldest child, so
I am too.
thank you,
I'm the
Mom.
oldest child too. Well, and that's big. I
Okay,
mean, we
but
look
my
at
thing was is Jesus and Satan switched with that, and is Satan the church of the firstborn? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I had
Well,
better.
so in the temple, one of the first things that you do through the process, I haven't done it, but I've watched the video. New Name Noah actually uploaded the temple ceremony. If you ever want to go watch it, they keep trying to take it down, and he keeps putting it back up. So you should be able to find it under New Name Noah, or Mike Norton is the man who did that. But in it, when you get the garb that you're putting on, all your temple clothes, Satan is the one who hands you the robe to put on. The
Right, and it's
little
green,
robe that
right?
goes in front of you, the same as the Masonic rituals, the same type
Is
of
it
apron that
green?
they wear in that.
Is it a green apron?
Yes.
Because I remember when, sorry, this is graphic a little bit, but I mean, we know that Tammy, Charles, Tylee, and JJ, they're dead. Okay.
yeah.
So during the trial for Lori, they left Tammy's picture up and on the monitor, on the projector screen, and they left it up way too long, and she was in her, whatever you call it, her
The temple
temple.
garb.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
there you
temple
go.
garments is probably
I
what
remember
they
the
would.
green. I remember. Anyways, there's all
You
kinds of
can,
occult stuff going on.
yeah. And they actually are buried in that because at the resurrection, when Jesus comes back and they are resurrected, they want to be in their temple garments.
And there's a
And
whole thing
so
about
my dad,
spiritual
when
relations.
he was buried in all of his temple
Yeah,
outfit.
and like lay people like me or non-members, we can't sit there and be there at the very end of the service, right? Like at the
Yeah, you
I
can't go in the
remember
temple
I'm
if you
under
don't have
my
a temple recommend.
okay. That's wild to me because Lori, like she turned her life over to the temple is what she said in her talk with Melanie Gibb and others, when she was a warrior and she was ready to elevate to the higher law, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, that's when shit went array,
And a
awry.
lot of that, yeah, is not going to be as mainstream as it is that Avow group and the Church of Satan faction under the LDS. And it's a perfect
Comparing
little
people.
group to hide into because in the LDS church, your priesthood holders are everything. They speak to God for you. They have the discernment to tell you what you should do, kind of like they said you should get these back, in 2020. That was a really big deal for a lot of members and kind of started a schism because
Very
a lot
true.
of people were like, we don't think that you should be doing that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's
I
wild.
bet.
And this gets down into a fundamental problem anyway. And as Larene knows, because she's been here for a while, I love the law of one because the law of one makes sense as far as the templates. And when we're looking at the negative polarity, the polarity of darkness versus the polarity of light, which is the contrast of the world we live in right now, this polarity, what we see in like the darkness, hands down, is a pecking order, is hidden
Mhm.
stuff. Any religion that has a pecking order that says this person's holier than you or this place is more special than you, that is automatically defaults into the dark polarity. Over on the light,
There you go.
everyone's equal. We all mess up and make mistakes, but nobody has any higher authority to God than you do.
Yeah.
Right? There's no prophets in the
But
light.
they're
We're all
doing it, Bryce, so that we have order, I mean,
right. That
there's
new
those
world order
people.
has got to come in, isn't it? And I
There
was
you
saying,
go.
do you want to talk a little bit, Lorraine, too? Speaking of like Jesus and Satan being brothers, which is not a part of the mainstream Christian. Well, let's talk about, like, so when we say when I say mainstream Christian, I'm talking about like your generic Protestant churches, your Catholic churches, which whoever thought the
USA.
Catholics and the Protestants would be kind of on the same. The only difference between Protestant and Catholicism, really, at the end of the day, is Protestants don't do the saint stuff. We don't have saints. And we don't believe communion actually turns into it's more symbolic, which
I
that's
love
fine.
I loved practicing for communion. It was weird.
My
Just with
church,
the bread.
unfortunately, didn't have the wine. It was juice. I think it would have been a lot more fun if it was actually wine. But yes, but the foundational belief of Catholics and mainstream Protestants is the same.
I didn't know that though. I mean, I've learned about that, about my own upbringing in that religion through research in Mormonism, and which I knew nothing about. Period. In the story, I was like, oh, okay, you're Mormon, all right. What do y'all do?
You're nice. Yeah.
Okay. You don't believe in the 100, you don't do the, I mean, you don't teach the 144,000. Well, how do y'all not teach it? So that's why I looked at the Book of Mormon. That was my introduction to the Book of Mormon, was the case.
It's wild.
And Nephi, Nephilim.
Yes. Come on, y'all.
Yes.
Hello.
I was watching, there is a video out of this atheist who I keep meaning to send it to you, Larene, who read the Book of Mormon, and his
I know the channel you're talking about.
It popped up. I have not subscribed him. I'll have to go back and look. It just popped up. He was so funny because he talked about how Joseph really kind of told a story like a third grader. Like there's no deep, like at least in the Bible, there's some deep pondering questions about life. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Like what is death? There's some deep questions that are asked in the Bible.
Yeah.
That are good. But the Book of Mormon, it's like they just kind of tell a story. And he's like,
I'm not surprised by that, because that is huge. And actually, storyteller is one of the buzzwords that I have picked up from these accelerationalists, all the way down to Lauren Matthias. So they say, I'm a storyteller. And they have the truth teller. I still don't know what all that means, but I'm like,
well, history, his story.
There you go.
It is. So, Larene, what is Mormon God? This first of all, I've said with Larene before, you lose me at the planet thing. Like, I don't want my own planet. That just seems like a lot of work.
Like, I mean, you have to furnish a lot, and take care of all them damn kids. No.
Who's going to clean up this place? Like, I have a hard enough time just taking care of my dog. Like, I'm out. Like, I don't want a planet.
I'd have a shitty one for sure.
Like, man, I don't want it. But Larene, this would be the second thing that made me go, nope, I'm out. Who is God in Mormon world?
Well, I mean, he's God, he had Jesus and Satan. Those are his firstborn two sons. And Satan wanted to come and rule the earth and tell everybody how they should behave. And Jesus said, no, we need to give them free agency. And so they had that split, and Satan was cast out and sent into hell, or outer darkness is what we called it. And then,
or whatever, right?
Yeah, Jesus took
that. Doesn't it equate, or I'm not good with math, but like 33 and a third or something? It's got the 3 3s is what I'm saying. 33.
Yeah, there is a lot of hidden symbology and numbers that I still need to dig into, because I still don't even understand it all.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a rabbit hole. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But then, no, you're fine. You're good. When you come to Earth, you're going through trials and tribulations while you're here to elevate yourself to become a God yourself of your own world. There are, like you were talking about with the pecking order, there is a pecking order even in heaven. You have the celestial kingdom, which even has levels inside of that, supposedly. It never ends.
I call the second anointing, which is like, they say it's not exaltation in this life, but Lori,
they use it as such.
It show is. I mean, I went and read Bruce R. McConkie. I went and read all his Mormon doctrine. It's like a play-by-play, basically. I mean, yeah. They're like, but we disavowed that. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't like delete it.
There was in one of the most recent conferences, there was somebody that got up and said, past prophets are like classic cars and comic books. You shouldn't necessarily like listen and remember everything that they said before. Well, then why are we even listening to you now? Because isn't that the whole point, that you're prophets, seers, and revelators to tell us and help us while we're here and to speak to God for us?
So does that nullify things Joseph Smith said?
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. And
They
the
do.
whole polygamy thing, like they're losing their mind on that because so many people are coming out right now saying that Brigham Young pinned, like he was actually the one who started polygamy, not Joseph Smith. And that is just
Yeah.
wild to me
That
because there is
confused
so
me
much
too.
proof about Joseph Smith doing it
Oh,
himself.
that threw me because as a non-member and not knowing anything about this religion, I would just find channels and I'm like, I don't know. They're talking about Joseph Smith. And I mean, you don't find that everywhere, right? So that's how I learned what an ex-Mormon was, what an active Mormon is, and how they look at ex-Mormons basically as, you're going to outer darkness. That
Yeah,
so
and
like
it's
the
not just
worst thing
after
they
this
can do
life.
to
Like
somebody,
will disvalue here on earth too.
they
Like you lose your
ostracize
family here
you
too.
there too. That's basically it. They ice you out, and I see that over and over and over again. They toss people out like, okay,
Yeah.
nothing to see
Families
here.
can be together forever if you
Mm.
follow Heavenly Father's plan. Well, who is Heavenly Father to them?
That's what freaks me out. Well, first of all, do the
Mhm.
Mormons not realize we know what the translation for Elohim means? It means multiple, like
Yeah,
multiple gods.
they don't know that.
They think Elohim
Oh,
is God,
they don't care.
God's name, and that God was a human. Like,
Mhm.
what
He was a
the
man.
fuck? Like, what? I'm sorry, you're asking me to put my faith into to a man basically that
Yeah.
became a god. What?
Mhm.
Well, I
That's how
believe
they give these men so much power because they will
Mhm.
be gods one day. So they have that saint mentality here on earth today.
it's
And
bad.
And
we're
they go around saving people, right? You have to come to the one true church.
Yeah, or they feel like
Yeah,
they have the
the
right to
one true
take
gospel.
life. They feel like they have the right to take life. When you have the God,
Right.
when you
Yeah.
have, like, I think all human beings are fractals. We're all created by, we're equally God's children. I don't have a right to take a life. The
And I
Mhm.
only
will say that the 85% of the people in the church would not agree with this.
Right.
And so we have to be very clear with that. This is a faction within the church that has embedded themselves and hid themselves
But it's
and
accepted, that's the part. It's, like, accepted and nobody draws a clear line and says, "Hey, no. No, no, no," and that's what drives me crazy. That's what allows people like Tom Harrison to thrive and to do damage. Not and again, it's not just the book with my family, okay? It's the fact that that Chad Daybell was meeting with Tom Harrison up prior to the murders, just prior to the murders and on. And I mean, hello? And I mean, I've done a
yeah,
lot of digging into the, like, MK Ultra type stuff, and
Mhm.
I don't know it all. I do a little digging everywhere, you know? So I don't have a good
that's
grip
what you
on.
have to do to figure it
Yeah,
out.
it's
And
wild.
go ahead, Kresha. Sorry.
No, no. I can
I
go
was
on and on and on, so
So Visions of Glory, the one thing I'm going to say, and if people are having a hard time with this, I would encourage you to research NDEs, real
Mm.
ones. My
And
opinion,
then Ebenezer Scrooge.
Tom
Sorry.
Harrison did not have a fucking NDE. That's not what happens. I know JoJo Awaken, one of my mods, has had an NDE, and my grandfather, who's no longer with us, he had an NDE, and his NDE never changed, and his story, and it was nothing like this,
And they're
nothing like
not
this.
evil.
His story, he had a heart attack. He was in his mid 40s. They rushed him to the hospital. He said he always told the same story. He remembered floating above, not sinking below. Tom Harrison always
Right.
says sinking below.
Glory too.
That's
Or make it
weird because he
what?
floated above his body. He was
Yes.
watching. The doctors and the nurses were talking. He remembered what they sang. He saw a light. He said it's a light you can't describe to humans. And he said what he saw as Jesus. I think we see what comforts us the most. So he said he saw Jesus come out. And my grandfather says over and over again, this is before I was born, that it felt so good there that he didn't want to leave. And so he tells us that he got into an argument with Jesus and he was like, I don't want to leave. Mary Ann, my grandmother's got this. Meanwhile, she totally throwing my grandmother under the bus. And Jesus kept saying, no, Ed, it's not your time. It's not your time. It's not your, you have to go back. You have to go back. And then he woke up in the hospital bed, and the doctors and nurses didn't believe him until he told them what they were saying to each other when he had technically flatlined. And my
That's
grandfather, according to everybody who knew him before and after, they always said that he changed drastically after that experience. He became the most loving, strong, gentle, 6'5" giant that he ended up making a ton of money after that, and he would spend all this money to like help
Pay it
people
forward.
over. Yeah, he was so active in the community, and he would still go to church, but he didn't really seem to care about religion anymore. Like he didn't
Okay.
seem to like care about it, and he would go when members of the community were on their deathbeds, like dying of a disease or whatever. He
Oh.
would go sit at their bedside and tell them like it's okay. You can like
Wow.
I promise you this is not bad,
Hospice type. Yeah.
and make it emotional. And then when his sister died, my great aunt, he at her funeral, he was giddy and laughing. He was like, "Jane's fine, y'all. She's healthy again. She's fine." And before he finally died, I remember him actually saying, like almost 5 years to the date, we're at lunch. He goes, "I think I got about 5 years left here." Like 5 years left. Like it was so
My grandfather
nonchalant.
was the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they change you for the better. And most people, that's what you see with typical near death experiences where people kind of lose their religion
And they're more spiritual.
and they're more spiritual and they really care about people and they
Yeah.
want to love people. That's not what you get here.
Without condition.
My grandfather didn't have any information. He didn't see any prophecies. He couldn't tell you about anything. There was nothing of that. He didn't know anybody's private information that's spoken about here.
Did he meet with them after hours in his Salt Lake City office and like teach them how to portal, which is remote view? Because I mean, that's what was crapping over there in SLC.
Right?
Anyway, allegedly.
So I would encourage people who are struggling with this, just look up typical NDE experiences. They're nothing like this. And they don't happen multiple times.
Yeah.
It's rare if it happens to you once.
Lori was in prison and, or whatever. She'd been in jail for years at the point when she was sentenced in Idaho for those crimes, for those murders or whatever. I'm sorry. Trying
You're
not to say the word, but I can't help it.
We're
That's when we heard for the first time that she had a near-death experience. She met Jesus and da da da, and which I mean, that is also a code word or code that is amongst these elite members, the second anointing ones, where they're taking part in these ceremonies, and it's a recruitment system, anyways, and I think that's what was going on with Lori's niece. The one she's actually blood related to, Melanie Boudreaux, who I believe at least two of the four kids she shared with her husband that was also shot at, they were marked dark. Same thing, and you kind of see it with Ruby and Jody and those kids, and you kind of see this over and over again, and they just kind of change their rhetoric, like zombies, dark, light. I mean, not dark light, but cockroaches, right?
Yeah.
With Gypsy Rose.
Person with Scientology, an SP, a suppressive person.
Yeah, a body Thetan, or
with the
Goyim.
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 Yeah, Goyim. Sergey Monas talked about the Goyim too, that they referred to as the Goyim. Well, and with Sergey, with the end of times, just before I forget, for you guys to understand that the Freemasons, King James was a master Mason. The Freemasons wrote the Bible we have today, and they can make prophecies come true if they control the script and
miracles.
The
do they call them miracles? Because the group I studied, Glenn Beck, Tim Ballard, all those people, they always talk about Tom Harrison, miracles, Senator Mike Lee, miracles. They're upon us, So I want to know, because I mean, I catch the buzzwords all over. And in fact, my moderator sent me the We Are the People Utah. They had come out and they're trying to kind of his name is Justin Riggs. I've had him on my my channel to talk about the Bountiful SA ring. Anyway,
I just watched that this morning because they just dropped one.
That's so he was explaining one of the emails about the Mormon, I don't know what you want to call it, liquid.
The Esther Cohen Tizer Epstein woman.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there are so many things that dinged for me that were like, no, they're talking about the Dream Team or something. I'm like, well, we had the Dream Girls and Lori and Chad and the Seven Gatherers. We had. There's too many things, so I want to finish that first off.
I
Finish
actually,
that.
yeah, well, I have that email here because we started talking about it in the last live that we did about the blood. And I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. I'm Esther Cohen Tizer Epstein. And the way that Justin was saying it, like maybe this is just spam, somebody sending some random thing, but this is not random. This is anything but
Uh-uh.
random. And like you said, there's a
It's how they
lot of
speak.
things in this.
You just have to learn how to speak their language and pick it up. And once you do, you can't go
Mhm.
back. So just know that.
Do you want to read
Right.
the email?
Yeah, so I'll read some of it. Yeah, it says, and you're receiving this because you are a convicted sex offender required by law to monitor, control, and contain your sexual deviance, or B, an ordinary citizen who can benefit from having your sexual deviance monitored, explored, and amplified. Either way, myself and my common law husband, Peter John Benet, Esther or Klein Tizer Epstein, his
Wow.
boyfriend Chad,
Mm.
and my lovely, well trained daughters, blank, blank, and blank. And you can go to the We the People. He goes into who her daughters are, because this is a real person. He's done a lot of research into this person.
Yeah.
Will help you achieve all your sexual deviance goals. Needless to say, we all have significant daddy issues.
Wait.
Daddy is
Can I say something?
capitalized.
Can I just say that Zalema was helping Jason Mao and Chad? You know, they were doing, like I said, she was a cuddler. Her job was cuddling. So when she was testifying in the trials for Chad and Lori, you know, she's like, they wanted her to move to Rexburg. She was like, well, I won't have a job. I'm like, they didn't need cuddles everywhere. You know, don't everybody needs cuddles. It's just so crazy. You know, I think she even had this business called the Loving Room.
Yeah, yeah. So it goes further into drop by for a dynamic sexual healing session at blank, offered
Mm.
by the Blank Bowl School of Nourishment and Healing, successor to the Jeffrey Epstein Foundation. Individual sessions will measure not only your level of sexual arousal to deviant stimulus, but also girth, volume, spin, drop, amount of English on the balls, refraction,
What about egg
thrust,
shape?
PSI, temperature, skin tone, alignment, and we even
Oh,
take into account the rotation of the earth during the session.
what about
Group
egg shape?
slash group slash gang sessions can give those
Uh-uh.
measurements, but also ranking
Oh,
entries
that's a
and
large.
breeding quality. Wait a minute, lady. What qualifies you to take over this prestigious foundation? Good question. I was born and raised into a family that valued sexual exploration uh, and accepted and even celebrated sexual deviance.
Hmm.
My grandmother was known as the black hole of bile stock, Bialystok, if you want to look that up,
What?
and serviced Cossacks, Black Russians, White Russians, even Wehrmacht. I'm probably not saying that right. WEHRMACTH. Anyone and everyone, as long as they could pay. In 1950s Atlanta, my mother offered husbands stress relief sessions in the alley behind the drugstore when my father gave abortions to their girlfriends or wives. It was a
Mm.
family joke that even we got clients coming and going. That's not
Oh
even
my
all
God.
of it. Like, this is wild. It's wild.
So I
But
pulled this
this,
up, guys. What you just read about family deviancy within the family. I've been saying this for forever. If you really want to know what this club is that the Mormons are a part of, that bunch of people are a part of,
Tennessee.
it's the Sabbatean Frankist death cult. I've covered
Mhm.
the Sabbatean cult. They believe this guy. This is Wikipedia. It is what it is with Wikipedia. Easier to pull it up. But I've
It's
done
like
deep,
ChatGPT.
right,
Right?
deep research into this group. It took me a long time to actually even talk about this group because
Divine farts.
it is crazy. And
What?
they believe, Frankists believe in Sabati Zevi, one of the most famous of all self-proclaimed messiahs in Jewish history. He believed in transgressing Jewish commandments to elevate the divine sparks. He performed actions and violated traditional prohibitions. Anyway, but it goes into Leo, who was the next generation,
The view
where
doctrine.
they believed in
Sorry.
the concept of Shekinah. And I don't know, it's really dark, guys. And if you go into look into like the deeper into this, they really truly believe. Okay, sorry, Jacob Frank, not Leo. Leo Frank was another case here that Candace Owens has covered. That they are Sabbateans as well.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Jacob Frank, he passed the movement to his daughter Eve Frank, who had been proclaimed the Holy Virgin and a kind of Masonic counterpart as her father. Frank had begun preparing her for spiritual leadership while still alive, referring to her as the quasi-divine term. She became the central symbolic figure in the cult's theology, which drew heavily on inversion, sexual rights. Anyway, he used to, lack of a better word, boink her in public, his daughter, because they believed that you had to enact the most diabolical of human sins in order to be fully
Liberated, probably.
yes.
That's
So
the
this
inversion. Yep.
this explains why they do what they do on those islands. So what you're reading there, Larene, that's Sabbatean Frankism.
That's nasty.
100%. And so isn't that crazy? So this is absolutely much respect to Kresha. Kresha didn't have a choice, girl. You got thrown into this whether you wanted to or not. The New World Order came knocking at your front door.
I can't look the other way, man. I've tried. I've tried.
The rest of us just kind of watched it from afar, but you had no choice but to be thrown into this. And I will say, I said this in my video on Monday, and I mean it when I say this, because Dr. John Delenn, yes, SRA is real. Yes, this is very real. And Kresha's the smartest out of all y'all because she figured this out without having a bunch of people to, like you were smart. You figured it out. And so I think it's.
I'm gonna need that on a T-shirt. So I'm just figuring.
Yeah, no, you're super smart.
And we'll send one to Lauren too. She would love it.
Yes.
Right? Being smart is being able to recognize patterns. Anybody can read a book and regurgitate what it says in a book, but to be able to look at different sources and see the connection and to create that and to catch it without having someone actually point it out to you, that's the sign of true intelligence. And so,
well, the next letter in this email says, I became part of a coven of very empowered, confident, and successful women recruiters, including, and then there's a line and a half blanked out. So in my opinion, if these people are over 18, they should not be, I mean, okay, so yes, there's probably some MK going on there, and we can look at all of the proof of everything, but we have to look at it. And these girls need to be talked to, and we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to not let it go.
And I mean, that was just like Audrey Baratero, Zalema Pastenes, Melanie Gibb, Melanie Boudreau, Lori, Sabrina Sharp, and Christina Atwood, and Nicole Earle. It's like that's what this is. I mean, Zalema was passing herself as a life coach. And it all
like to do that.
At least stems back to the emotion code, being an emotion code practitioner, the body code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, I think his name is. Can't believe I'm starting to forget these names, y'all.
They did a documentary about him, didn't they? Was that the
He's
guy?
wild. And he's friends with Tony Robbins, so just there's that tidbit.
They take all this old ancient knowledge about because the darkness can't create anything, right? It can't create. It can only steal from the light and invert it. So we look at and rebrand it. So we look at like the Mahabharata, like these old 5,000-year-old texts that basically say like, it's all you, boo. Like you have to figure this out. You have to save yourself. The power's inside of you. And they take it and they twist it and they twist it and they twist it and they make you dependent upon these cults when literally the actual text is like, no, it's you. You are everything. No one else.
The middleman thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely scared of Kresha, and we're gonna keep supporting her and platforming her. We're not gonna shut up because that's what they want. And it sucks to be honestly, it sucks to be like Dr. John Delenn. Like he's got so much egg on his face right now. And the fact that all these emails have been 3 million emails have been released to prove him dead wrong. And so it sucks to be Lauren Matthias. Like,
and I mean, is he protecting? I've questioned this myself. Is he, especially with the latest stuff that happened with Lauren, and how, it was Mindy Caldwell, the lady that, would be on these podcasts, she'd appear on there with Megan and Lauren and the band is what they called them. And here I am. And I mean, I'm not Mormon. I get it. I'm not ex-Mormon. But it's like, geez, they would just like, I don't know. But I appreciated
You
it
know a
too.
lot more
Like,
than any of them do.
I don't know how to say it. And I mean, so that's what I always strive to do is just be a more effective talker. Today's not that day because we were at the hospital this morning. So anyways, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. They also depend on the trauma,
Yeah.
to keep silent.
What's the
From a very young age.
The trauma vulture is caw. What is it? Is it
Yeah.
Jay who says that they see
Yeah.
it?
Caw.
Yeah, they run and it's
that's where they go.
True crime is interesting because it's true. To quote Lauren,
Yeah.
It's true.
First off.
Because I think we're fascinated by human psychology and what drives people to do these things. But in my opinion, and Kresha, you might feel differently, but for Tylee, JJ, Tammy, and Charles, for their lives not to be lived in vain, we need to talk about the truth of what really happened to them.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that.
And the other people need to be prosecuted. There are more people that are still walking free that were involved in this, and they need to be arrested and held accountable also. But ladies, I have to go. Thank you so much for having me. And I will definitely, I know. I said, this is the important work. My job is not important. This is the important work. But for now, I still have to do that for a little while. So
we'll keep going with you, girl. Go get your work on. And we are proud of you as women for having a job and supporting yourself. And don't give your 10% to that fucking church. Keep that for yourself.
And if you are active LDS watching this, get with your wards, get with the good people in your wards. Keep that 10%. Do not send it to Salt Lake City to put in their hedge fund that has over $200 billion in it. If you keep that in your own community, that can help make a huge change. That is the biggest thing that you can do, because then you're helping each other for real and you're not just giving it to them to hoard. So just think about that. If you have made it this far and are still listening, that is going to be my advice to any LDS person out there.
Yeah,
and I'm proud of y'all. Whoever just, yeah, thank you. I'm glad that y'all get out, and that's the best thing ever. I swear.
Well, Larene,
much love to you both, and everybody watching.
I have a little story to tell you guys, if you guys don't mind, an anecdote about so my grandfather, my mom's dad, was a surgeon. Interestingly enough, he passed away when I was 4. He was like 56 when he passed away. He was in legal battles with insurance companies and the big PHAR. I'm not going to finish it. This company, he was in legal battles with them because he said they were getting too big for their britches, and it was a doctor's job to call on them that these patients were under his care, not their care. But nonetheless, after he passed away, he started this legal battle. He was the head of surgery for his clinic. And then all of a sudden he started these legal battles challenging the insurance companies and the Rockefeller medication companies. And all of a sudden he gets cancer and dies, which I have questions about that. But after he passed away, years later, my mother was somewhere, and one of my grandfather's old nurses came up to my mom and was like, I don't know if you know who I am. I worked with your father. I loved your father so much. He was such an incredible surgeon. And she told my mother the story. I know some people might have a problem with this story, and this story could never happen today. But she told my mother a story about how much people respected my grandfather because he had a little boy on his operating table. And this little boy desperately needed a blood transfusion, or he was going to die. And the little boy's parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. And my grandfather, she said this went on for a long time. My grandfather would leave the OR, go out, and you could hear him screaming and begging his parents that he was going to die. And he would he would scrub up, come back in, stare at the boy, walk out again, scream at the parents. And this kept going on and on. And finally, he came back in holding 2 pints of blood. He scrubbed up and he looked at every single nurse and tech person in that OR and said, if anybody breathes a word to this, I will deny it. And he gave the boy a blood transfusion because his loyalty was to that little boy, not to his parents.
Wow.
And I don't know if that would happen today, because everyone, but back then, I don't know when this was. This might have been like the 60s or 70s. He took it serious, his job as a doctor, to heal and save lives to the best of his ability. and that little boy was his patient. And so
That happens so often in that religion,
yeah, it's I
That
and that nurse was, I mean, this was years after he had passed away, so there's nothing that could happen, And she told my mom that story, and she said, no, everyone respected my grandfather so much that no one breathed a word. No one said anything, and he took the financial hit for it. He didn't, because he didn't want anybody to know what he had done to save that little boy's life. And so, that's why I always say, even though I personally have a problem with like modern medicine nowadays, there are still good doctors out there that
yeah,
really care, that really come into this
they're
profession.
not compromised and all
No.
that jazz. Oh
Yeah.
my god,
So,
that's good. It
yeah.
gets kinda scary sometimes when you're like, "Oh my god." You feel like you can get to where you feel like everybody is inverted and you're just like, where am I?" You know?
Well, so people, this is what I keep getting to, because when we talk about the Epstein emails, so many people are like, we can't, they're right. We can't vote our way out of this. Right.
Don't
And
vote.
this is what I keep thinking, like, free men don't ask permission. Like, why are we so subservient to these
I
people in power?
know.
Like,
That's
why
a
are we,
great point.
I think people are afraid to do anything because of the law and breaking the law. I'm like, freemen don't ask permission. They don't ask. You think they were asking permission when they pulled out the guillotine in the French Revolution? And by the way, guys, on Friday, February 13th, is it Friday the 13th? Oh my gosh,
Oh,
auspicious.
crap.
That's when Saturn goes into Aries, and just so y'all know, last time Saturn was in Aries is when they invented the guillotine. So,
It's also a major occult holiday too,
yep,
or that it's that
yep,
time. It's like it reminds me of Abby and Libby around
yep,
that time.
absolutely.
Valentine's Day. Mm.
I've still and that's when I was telling you off camera, Kresha, that's when I started questioning hidden true crime, was their coverage of Delphi.
And so
Because I
that's
was
2,
like,
with the Daybell case and that one, and you're not seeing it.
yes.
Yeah, if they're not seeing it, then they're trying not to see it. It's everywhere. It's all in those cases.
Yeah, it's all over it. And I was telling you, I work with a woman named Criminal Justice Chris. My channel knows her pretty well. And she does really deep research into occultism and crime, especially in the Son of Sam case. In the Son of Sam case, David Berkowitz was literally, I mean, he was involved in some of it, but it's the same group. It's the same satanic cult. You could read The Ultimate Evil by Maury Terry. I have it somewhere here. There it is, right there. Ultimate Evil, Maury Terry, where he goes into it. And she was telling me that when you look at, like, also works in like really like high, really aggressive criminals. She'll go to those high
Okay.
lockdown prisons, and I know that's not the right word.
Maximum
Maximum, that's it.
maximum.
But I don't really hang out in high maximum security prisons,
You
and a lot.
don't? Dr.
I
John
don't.
does,
No, I don't.
allegedly. I think that's a lie. I think it's a lie.
um, and
Oh,
well, she
man.
was saying all of these really high, like, just awful criminals, they're all into the occult. Like, this is a high statistic. And so for Dr. John, who apparently allegedly is a forensic psychologist, to not even entertain the occult theory,
Mhm.
is the math ain't mathin' on that. The math,
Amongst all the theories he does entertain, by the way.
exactly.
Holy cow, that dude is one theory walking, I swear.
It Yeah, absolutely. My
Ooh,
grandfather was. I'm very proud of my grandfather for that. My name is my mother's maiden name, so his name was Dr. Boyce Bryce, Dr. Stafford, Boyce
aw,
Stafford Bryce. I was the first grandchild, as we were saying, the firstborn.
me too.
What the
Well, on one side.
Very glad I wasn't sacrificed. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, parents. Thank you.
For loving me. And
The
not doing that.
sacrifice they did was working and, just providing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sacrificing sleep, but not actual
Say
children.
that.
Thank you.
Um, but I always laugh because I carry their name, but I'm not a science person. Like, I kind of find it comical that I did not follow. I'm like, science what? Like, I like the English and the
You do
philosophy.
your own brand. You
I do my
do.
own brand. Yeah, exactly. I think Delphi was the nail in the coffin for a lot of people, and lucky for us, they fucked up with Delphi, because I think that forced a lot of people to go back and
It
look at
did.
the Vallow
It
Daybell
did.
case a little differently.
Because I didn't follow I mean, I didn't set out to follow the Delphi case. I just remember it was around whenever the kids were missing and then, their bodies were found, all that stuff. And then it's like things started to kind of subside in our case. And so I would see their pictures, on thumbnails and all over YouTube, but I didn't know.
Right.
And then I remember them arresting Richard Allen, and I just didn't know enough, to speak to it. But then I started to kind of listen, just to a few things, and follow it a little bit. And I've really followed more. Actually, I followed Lauren's stuff. She would report on it, so there's that. And I still came away from her reporting on it or her storytelling ability or whatever, with a whole opposite, you know,
Yeah.
outlook. I mean, I'm just like, "What? How do we always end up on opposite sides?"
And Richard Allen, it's not a crime to be a weirdo. It's not a crime to like maybe not
They
be.
I think they made him a weirdo. I really do. I
They
think
tortured
the
him.
storytelling, and that's what they're doing, is driving these narratives, and it really is a disservice and an injustice. It's injustice to the actual victim.
Absolutely, it is, and that's my thing too. Like even for JJ and Tylee, because I also believe, I think Lori and Chad are the ones that are paying the price. But I think there was a whole coven involved. Why aren't the Melanies in
Absolutely.
prison? Why isn't Zulema in prison? Like
Mhm. Why
why?
aren't Epstein's friends in prison? Yeah. I
Exactly.
mean,
Exactly. Why and with Richard Allen, like if I don't believe he's guilty, if he's not guilty,
I don't.
then Libby and Abby have not been justice has not been served. And
And
that's
everybody's in danger because the real cult is still out there.
absolutely they are. I mean, it's like I was the other day, because we both follow the Gypsy case as well. And because you like as you said, you start to learn their language, like you start to learn like what to
Yeah.
look for. And I've always been curious. Like, first of all, I'm one of those weirdos that doesn't think there's actually a baby. I don't think she was ever pregnant. Who's ever baby that is, I don't. That's just my opinion. There's something very strange about that pregnancy. But I was
I
like,
just can't
why?
get around the logistics, like I
There's something
believe.
weird.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm also like, well, but how?
I think it was a fake. I think she's deeper. I think this is my opinion, guys, not fact, my opinion. I think the Blanchards are really deeply into this
Now
occult.
that I agree with
I think that because I looked up the name because Aurora was also the name of the fictitious child that she spoke about with Nick, when the child turned 13, all that kind of stuff.
uh-huh.
Like,
And about yeah.
why would you name your real child after a fictitious child that you were going to have that happened to at 13? So I was like, there's
Yeah.
something about the name Aurora. So I started doing deep research into the goddess Aurora, which turns out the goddess Aurora was celebrated around the same time as her mother's murder. And their celebrations were to basically ritually abuse and unalive the matriarch, the first wife.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
And yeah, so then it goes down to semantics and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. Okay, so I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah.
It's all
There's something there though.
when you learn to look at the little things they're telling you. They
Mhm.
also love the pure bloodline, and what I mean by
Oh,
that is like keep the bloodline pure. There's a reason why we're not supposed to be attracted to our siblings and our cousins. There's
they
a reason.
say, wait, closer the kin, the deep. Wait, yeah, let me
Yeah,
not
there's
say
some kind of
that.
the micro deletion that Gypsy has is caused by incest.
There you go.
So, they value that kind of stuff, but it's interesting, like why they don't pick victims at random, you guys.
Mm-mm.
And this goes down to necromancy. And
And how my family was rated, in my opinion.
yes, they look at your genealogy, they look at now you're RH negative, like, right, Kresha?
Yeah, that just yeah,
Is,
that's
is your
interesting.
mom is your mom RH
No,
negative? Okay.
nope, my dad either.
And your mom was marked. You know that, right? She was
My
marked.
mom was
It
marked.
was Rhonda, right?
My my nephew was marked. Yep. Mhm.
Do you know what JJ's blood type was?
No, no, but I there we do have access to the autopsy report, so I do plan on, finding out.
So I've been researching, you guys know, and we're doing it on my membership. We are going through Bloodline of the Gods and looking at all the stuff around. They value blood like y'all would never even imagine.
It's
Like
like at the core of every like, at the end of every day at the end of the day, that's what counts as the bloodline, right?
it's the bloodline. So I am O negative. So I have been told two conflicting sources that because I'm O negative, no matter how much I speak out, how much I get threatened, because I have been threatened a lot, they'll never really come after me because of my bloodline, because of I'm O
Okay.
negative. They
I've heard that
love
before about these, SRA victims and stuff who they don't really F with, but so is that kind of the same thing if you
so
were in
if
the
you're
occult?
yeah, so if you're looking at that's why I want to know more about like people's blood types because no, I don't believe this, guys. I don't think if you judge somebody's value based on their blood type, like you're an idiot, like
Mhm.
you're a moron.
I mean, that hello, it happened in my family, and people are like, "That's just Chad's rating system," and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. No, it's not. No."
It's not. It's not. So they're also whenever they do, so if we yeah, it is a recessive trait. Both so the biggest issue for Rh negatives in the real world with us for us women is pregnancy. That's the biggest issue.
Mhm.
If
That's
we
when I
just
learned that I
yeah,
was A negative, yeah.
you have to have if your baby daddy is Rh positive, you have to have like medical support because your body will try to get rid of the baby. My
Right.
boyfriend is also he's A negative too. So if I were to
Mine
get
too.
pregnant,
It's crazy.
isn't that crazy? We're
Well,
weird
he's O negative, I'm A negative, and then, yeah, y'all are reversed from us.
reverse.
Yeah.
Rhesus negative people also tend to be no offense, but of higher
Mhm.
intellect. So when I say Kresha is smart, like it's in her blood. Like she, Rh negatives are typically, but we also have too at the back of our eyes. So rhesus negative, so either A negative, B negative, AB negative, or O negative. All rhesus negative takes in light differently. So the back of our eyes is like a diamond shape versus a circle. So that's why we get diagnosed a lot with astigmatism. Like I have my glasses
Yep.
right
My
here.
my contacts steadily turned, and I just got rid of them. I was like, "To hell with this."
Yeah, it's because we take in
Uh,
light differently, so we see things that maybe others can't see. All
mm,
right. Also, one
that
thing
makes
about Rh negatives is we it's harder to program us. It's harder to
huh.
like MK Ultra us.
Wow.
So as I'm saying this, guys, and I don't know all the answers, but I've been you guys, if you guys have been on my channel for a long time, for like 6 years, we've been talking about this shit. Because I'm like, there is something to this formula back with royalty. That's why because royalty was all Rh negative, so they would look for like traits. Like there are certain traits, like your ears. Like
Yeah.
there's certain ways.
Characteristics and different things to try to make the what? The elite human?
No, that yeah, that they're
Mm,
Rh negative, and so they want to keep it in the family. They don't want the positive.
mm-mm.
So when we look at these sacrifices, which is let's be
Wow.
honest, that's what Abby Libby, that's what I believe Tylee and JJ and Tammy and Charles were.
Absolutely. And it
Um,
continues on even after that, and that's
yes,
where I think, like, people like Lauren I'm sorry, where they do the 144 roses and all the symbology around it. It's like they continue there's nothing left of a victim.
no,
They will drain every freaking resource. Oh my god, it's gross.
it is so disturbing. And when we look at these rituals, guys, like we can learn more about their language if you really look at the formula of how they do stuff.
Mhm.
And even when it comes to like in Epstein's emails with them like ingesting humans,
Yeah, that's gross. Oh my god.
yeah, look at the blood type, look at what they're taking in. Back when the WikiLeaks came out, when I first started like looking at this stuff, like years later, because I started my channel in 2020, so 4 years later, I kind of already started like different races. They
Huh.
use like for it's white boys, blonde hair, blue eyed, white little boys give the
Blonde
best
hair.
prenup,
Yep.
according to them, are the ones that give the best
Mhm.
prenup. Organs, African Americans give the best organs. So they have like
Preference.
categories. It's wild, you guys. It is so diabolical. It is so diabolical. But if knowledge is power and knowledge protects. So the more
Mhm.
that we know about what they're doing,
Yep.
the more we can
'Cause they
stop it.
believe it. And I
They
mean,
believe
it's sad, it's so sad, but it's so is burying your family because you're not actually studying and looking into and analyzing the correct things. So that's one good thing about, like, the WikiLeaks and, Epstein files and all that stuff, is that we're seeing the real problem. You can believe it or not, you can have that debate, it's all it is a debate. but it's
Yeah.
reality for these victims, and it
Yeah,
could be
it is.
reality for us, and so we're not looking out for the right things to
No.
protect ourselves, the real red flags, so that's where I find a lot of value in my research into this.
And
That's
what's so
where you
sad.
glean a lot, and you get to the root of the problem, you know?
Absolutely, and that's what's so sad to me, like, nothing and I'm sure and obviously, it pisses you off even more than any of us. When I look at the footage from, like, the Chandler Police Department
Mhm.
from when your father lost his
Yep,
life,
my
and
uncle,
the
yeah.
way that your uncle, sorry, and the way that that Lori
Yeah,
is,
was
like,
nonchalant, right?
nonchalant,
Was
like,
that was
almost flirting.
Yep, yep, and that's because of her upbringing in the church.
Yeah, it's cra
It's
and
conditioned,
the
right?
fact that she believed all these crazy ideas, but yet was able to maintain some even though it was weird for us because she was flirting, there's some normalcy that
But
she was
is it
able to
weird
pull off.
is it is it weird for other Mormons, you know? That's what I'm saying. They're like, "Oh, no,"
Point.
they say they're fringe, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, they're not."
Yeah, no, it's
You
not.
just won't do that, or you say you won't do that, and she did it. That's the only difference, you know?
This is not and I know that's hard because I know there are a lot of good I wanna make that very clear, like, I know that there
Yeah.
are people in the Mormon church who are really good people, and I
I
know
don't get that
it's
argument, though.
really
It
it's really hard
it's
to
been
hear
a
this
hard
about your
it's
culture.
been a hard argument throughout this,
Yeah.
where I feel like I have to say that too, where no, just because I'm saying what they believe and what I believe they believe, I'm for what it's worth. It I shouldn't have to tell you, that it's not you people. It's not you good people. You know
No.
what I mean? It's like you know the difference. You know what you do and what you don't do and what you believe and what you practice and all that stuff. So it's like a way for people to just take offense to it and to turn a blind eye again,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And I've noticed too, like, here in the South, like, I love being from the South because 'cause we're eccentric as fuck, like, I love it. I mean, Southern women are so savage, and they will tell you to go to hell with a smile on their face, and you'll gladly do it, like,
And hospitable, yeah.
yes, very we'll make you casserole at the same time. I always
Yeah.
tell people my absolute favorite is when an old Southern woman tells you that you look healthy.
My mom always says
She
she'd be
just
like, "All right,
doubles
girl, it's
down.
time to push away from the table." I'm like, "Oh my god."
My sister, my granddad, the one that had the near-death experience, even though he's no longer with us, and my sister is almost 40 and she's the mother of 4, she's still bitter about how the fact after her first year of college, my grandfather told her she looked healthy because she had gained like 50
Oh
pounds.
my god.
So she's still bitter about that. But down here in the South, we look at like where I live in this part of the South is very Protestant, where Kresha lives is very Catholic. But
Mhm.
I always say churches down here in the South at this point, they've become more of like social centers. Like
Yeah.
they don't, yeah, bless your heart. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Amy's also in the South as well. But
Vagrant too, la Fibitan, that's French.
yep,
Anyways.
it's and so I don't think a lot of the Mormon shenanigans, I just don't think would ever
Culture.
fly fully here in the South because it really kind of headbutts with Southern cult. Like
The
we're
Yeah, it
patriots down here
does.
in the South.
I would say so too.
We're
But
super big.
again, I also look at the end game that they're trying to do, which is bring it all into one.
Yeah, absolutely. One new world order.
So it
It's the
doesn't matter who's what and who practices what, because it's what they're wanting to do. That's what they're
just
trying to do. We're
put
just
Jesus
doing it step by step.
hologram Jesus in the sky, and you got it. If be very weary of if a Jesus comes to a sky near you, be very weary of that.
Girl, I was weird. I was leery whenever I saw Michael Jackson hologram in the Tower of Terror when I went to Disney World when I was in high school. I was like,
So,
"What is going on in here?" This
you
is
know, you
wild.
know. Well, you guys,
Oh,
I also so this is the heart, but necromancy. I mean, necromancy is alive and well in the mainstream church as well. I mean, that's
mhm,
communion, right? Like that's the Mithra
mhm.
story. But I have here, if we really want to understand what's going on, we have to look like way back at Joseph Smith. And have you read No Man Knows My History, Kresha?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it so many times over the years.
It's
I need
pretty.
to.
She went deep. So this is just from the second chapter. Just this is Joseph Smith. This is what we're talking about. So I'm reading you a paragraph from it. Listen to what this says. So a neighbor, William Stafford, swore that Joseph told him there was buried money on his property, but that it could not be secured until a black sheep was taken to the spot and led around a circle, bleeding with its throat cut. This ritual was necessary to appease the evil spirits guarding the treasure. To gratify my curiosity, Stafford admitted, I led them to a large fat sheep. They afterwards informed me that the sheep was killed pursuant to commandment, but as there was some mistake in the process, it did not have the desired effects. This is, I believe, is the only time they ever made money digging for a profitable business. But the treasure isn't the thing here. What they're talking about is blood ritual. To slit the coat.
Don't everybody do this? No, I'm picking.
Right.
But I mean, some of us are brought up this way, you know, and we don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with the things we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys also with we know here they talk about I've got all the visions marked here, but yeah, it talks about we're talking about his connections potentially to Aleister Crowley, and I have here, guys, in Anton LaVey's Book of Satan. So if you guys want to get, and I've done deep dives into Anton LaVey, there's a demon that Anton LaVey speaks about called Mormo, Mormo, Mormo. Just like I was telling you guys about like the missing books of the Old Testament where they talk about Jehovah being a demon. So Mormo is mentioned in Anton LaVey's Book of Satan. Do you know what the followers of this demon are called, Kresha? Mormons.
Wait, say that again?
Mormo, the demon.
The followers of who?
Of Mormo, the demon Mormo.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
They're Mormons.
I mean,
Mormons follow the demon Mormo.
I believe it, though. And it's not, I'm not poking fun, but it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know?
So
and that's why we see the way, you know, the culture and everything, just it's out of hand.
It's absolute necromancy. It's blood ritual. In no Man Knows My History, guys, it goes into Joseph Smith's family. So what Larene was talking about, Alvin, the oldest brother, who died. So get this, guys, when he died, the pastor of the town, when they were doing his funeral, basically was telling everybody that Alvin went to hell because everybody knows that the Smiths are basically witches and warlocks who practice black magic.
From Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's right here. And it got so bad. So my boyfriend is one of those old school conspiracy theorists. Like he woke up in 2001 with the
He's
event.
Been right.
He's been right. Girl, we have not like the Mormons, but he's got rice and beans in storage he's had for years. Not like the
Waiting
Mormons.
for us to catch up. Yeah. Finally, damn.
But he's had that for a long time. And so he's been studying this group he's 11 years older than me. I always have to preference that.
I love the old school conspiracy. Not conspiracy theorists, you know. Y'all deserve a damn award or something.
I know. And he was the one that had me watch when we first started dating. He had me watch what's Jordan Maxwell's documentary on Saturn.
The one you sent me, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what just to see if I would because he's like we couldn't be together if I wasn't like
he was testing you.
It was a test, and I was so traumatized. It took me like a year to like process everything. But he knows a lot about necromancy and what these, because if you look, guys, there's a lot of like famous people in the world who have missing body parts.
I think baptisms in the church, you know,
that's necromancy too.
That's necromancy, yeah.
But if you look like Henry IV of France, his head's missing. Oliver Cromwell's head's missing. Rasputin's wiener is missing. That was a fun one.
Doesn't it have to do with Freemasonry though, because they talk about that.
They take the body parts, and so if you have a hand or a head, and they burn them, they burn them while they're doing their rituals. That's why. Well, guess what, you guys? In this book, guess who? The town was certain that Alvin, the brother of Joseph Smith, after he had his funeral, and the preacher was like, his ass is going to hell. They knew that the town knew so much about the Smith family that they were certain that if you dug up Alvin's body, parts of his body would be missing for black magic rituals. That's how much people knew the Smiths were practicing.
And that's what they did.
Yep.
They did this to didn't they do this to the dad and the mom? And
they take body parts.
Oh my God, absolutely. It's wild. And even the prophets in the church, you know, I've heard actual, survivor stories of that. And talking
Yeah,
about,
and I'm going to show you this
oh,
too. Look at this picture. It's in the book. And we're going to be going deeper into this book, guys. I mean, I literally like I'm only like, let's see, I'm 50 pages in, and every page I write, I'm like marking it, underlining stuff. Look at this. I looked at the pictures though. I want you to look at this capstone of the Nauvoo temple. Look at that. Y'all
wow.
see that?
Yep, I've seen
You
that
see
before.
this up here?
Mm-hmm.
That's Freemason handshakes.
Oh, I thought that was like some horns or something. Like,
Yeah, it's hard
they're
to see. It's hard to see it close. It's Freemason. See that? Do y'all see that now? The
okay,
handshake.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
But
Freemason.
I look at handshakes now, y'all. Everybody.
Yep.
I'm like, mm-hmm.
And this sun
It's just
is a sun god.
he looks a little goofy
I know he
if
just
I'm
kind of,
being
he kind of
honest.
looks
He
like
looks a little his eyes are a little too close together, if you know what I mean.
he looks like Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Oh my god, you did.
Sorry,
You
that was
really
me.
did. I love it.
Sorry. I'm Southern. I can be petty. He kind of looks like, when your little kid used to draw suns. He kind of looks like that. But you see this. Actually, there was a tick, you guys. I have the algorithm is algorithming. I'm terrible on TikTok, but I watch TikToks, and I have now landed on like the ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon page, and I love it. And I just
Jeez,
keep, like
man.
bombarding Larene with all these funny. But one of the videos, the guy was saying that he had in Sanskrit is called a prativa moment, a flash of illumination, because he was watching the news and he
Sounds like
saw people
constipation.
like doing the handshake that weren't
Yeah.
Mormon. And apparently in Mormonism, that handshake is taught that that's the
Get you
entrance into
get
heaven.
you into heaven. Different tokens, signs, symbols, handshakes. You gotta, the women, like Tammy died, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so she can't get into heaven until or the first resurrection or whatever until Chad dies, and then he has to call her name. And so if there's polygamy, a lot of women would question, like, well, what if he calls her name and not mine? And then,
Could you
and like the women
imagine?
don't know their names,
Could
they're
you imagine
assigned.
being chained to fucking Chad Daybell for all of eternity? That is
Hell
hell.
no. I hope she
That's
is just hauling ass.
that is
You
fucking.
know? Oh,
There is no God that I
mm-mm.
believe in that would ever value one gender or one race over the other.
It doesn't make sense.
It
It
doesn't.
just doesn't feel right in my soul, like it just
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all, you guys. It's so
it's
fucked up.
it's like
Um,
when we're born, it's like we're born naked and just helpless little creatures, and I mean we're human. That's the human race, and then it's like these labels, the men, the women. Then it's just white, black. All the dividers start creeping in there, and it just is.
And
Mm,
I do believe our genetics do have something to do with like survival of the fittest, like where our
mhm.
ancestors were predominantly from. They say that people with blue and green eyes, we have an easier time navigating the snow. We don't suffer from snow blindness. That
Well,
makes sense.
I live far from snow. My eyes are
Exactly. I
green.
mean, LOL. I find that funny. I don't even. Us Southerners have no business being involved in the antics of winter. Like we shouldn't be involved in winter at all. Literally, it's so
I
funny down
love
here in
it.
the South. Whenever they threaten the snow might come, I swear to God, all the church
Yeah.
ladies think Jesus
Ski
is
Utah,
coming.
right?
Yes, so we don't. One of my really good friends lives in Toronto. He lives in Toronto, Canada, and I was on the phone with him one day. And he was like, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And he was like, "I'm going to get my winter tires put on." And I was like, "Come again?
What? Yeah.
What's a winter tire?" I
Yeah.
was
Is that
like,
like my winter coat?
"What's a winter
What are we
tire?
doing here?
We don't even have
I'm
gloves. We
like,
just
I need a hoodie. I need a hoodie because it's supposed to snow here for the, one time a year that it does. And will it stick? We don't know. We shut
we don't
down the whole
know."
damn town.
I shut down. We shut down last Sunday because it was supposed to be a snowstorm of the century, and I had to shut down my early morning class because listen, Southerners will die on the road if it snows, and so I shut
Oh
it down.
yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
happened.
It's
Nothing
oh my
happened.
God. Me and mom went to Vegas and it rained 3 out of the 4 days we were there. And she was like, oh no. She was like, people around here do not know how to drive in rain. And we always do, but
we can do rain because we live in hurricanes. We live
You
in
can't drive in snow,
tornadoes.
I'll tell you that much. My
Yeah,
mom cannot drive in snow.
I mean,
She's
right
hit a
now
few
it's like
snowbanks in Rexburg.
no. Oh, did y'all?
Allegedly.
Did she really?
Yeah, I was with it. I'm like, Mom, hello. Anyway, allegedly, that might be my other mom.
That is so. It's such a horrible situation. That is kind of comical for a lady
It
from
is, man.
Louisiana to be
Yeah.
having to drive. Got again, us Southerners, we got no business doing that. Like no
And I
business.
trust my mom's driving, man. She's like the one person I can just fall asleep and not
Yeah.
like that, worry. But holy cow.
I can't. I'll tell y'all a funny story. This about my mom. I hope my mom's not watching. My mother's a terrible driver, y'all. She's terrible. Like she rides the brakes, so you're constantly
Oh
doing like this the
no.
whole
My
time.
great grandma did that stuff. Our heads would be, doing
Yes,
that. Mhm.
my nieces and nephews. We were going to Gulf Shores one as a family beach trip. This was years ago, and my oldest two nieces and nephews were really young at that time, and they were certain that they were allergic. They drove down with my mom, and they both threw up in the car.
They thought they were car sick.
They thought they were allergic to grandmama's car. It was so funny. And my boyfriend were laughing. We're like, no, it's grandmama's driving. And my
Yeah, she
mother
did
didn't
look
even
like
know. She was like, yeah, I don't know why they. I was like, yeah, because you ride the fucking brakes. Like they were just doing
Put
this
your
the
foot
whole
down.
time.
Set your cruise control. They got all kinds of neat little things.
They were
Oh
just
my God.
convinced they were allergic to grandmama's car. I was like, and then
She done convinced them of that.
I
It couldn't be her
was
driving, you know?
was like, no, it's grandma's driving. Like it's
Oh
grandma's
my
driving. Like, I think
My
they wanted.
grandma used to go, the whole trip. I mean, she lived about 40 minutes away from town. So I'd meet her at her office or be dropped off at her office, and then I'd ride with her to her house for the weekend. And the whole way, twit, you twit, twit. I'm like, what the hell?
It's so
Twit.
bad. It's so bad. Yeah,
I
I
don't have
don't.
the road rage, man. I don't.
You don't have. I get. I in Atlanta. I get road rage sometimes because the traffic here is so bad.
I'm
And I
not
feel like
saying I never have. I'm just saying I don't. Hey, I went to Utah and I went to Idaho and I was like, holy hell, what is wrong? Why are y'all
it's
so
that
mad?
Mormon lemon. It's that Mormon lemonade they be drinking. It's that's what's it swig? What do the Mormons all drink in Utah? Is it swig? All the diet sodas because they can't drink
Yeah,
coffee. I would be
allegedly.
terrible
And
with
the
it.
energy drinks, that threw me for a loop with all the detectives. I was like, and Brandon Boudreaux, like he came to Lake Charles and he was putting up security cameras for my parents at their house, and I was handing them the drill, and I was like, dude, you sure you're not from Louisiana? Because I mean, his last name's Boudreaux.
Yeah, it's a
We
British
are
last name.
Louisianians. We have jokes here, and they start out like this. So Boudreaux and Thibodeau, okay? And so that's it. Boom. But so it turns out at the sentencing, Lori's last sentencing in July, um, his family was sitting behind us in the jury box, and I was like, dude, I swear. And so I made that joke again. And so some of his sisters, they were like, oh, yeah, our grandfather is from Louisiana. I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
And is Brandon? I'm assuming they're Mormon.
Hmm. Yeah.
How does someone from Louisiana
I
end
don't
up
know.
Mormon?
Very careful.
I'm like, because it just doesn't. The Mormon culture does not.
There's no temples here, but they have purchased 2 lots or whatever. One of them is on South Park Drive. I would love to see that one win if they do, force one here. Just saying, South
We
Park.
have some wards like around the area, but
I've never
but
mm-mm.
it's not like the. I
That's
just
Felicia.
it doesn't merge well with Southern culture. It just doesn't. Like it doesn't merge. Like you're not. First of all, you're not going to tell a fucking Southern woman like somebody put Still Magnolias. All right, think about Weezer from Still Magnolias. You're not going to tell a Southern woman that she's going to be playing second fiddle to her husband. He's going to have to call her bullshit name out with it. Like that's not going to fly.
Yeah. Isn't it 2 bulldogs fighting in a pair of stockings or something? Did you say that? And I laugh, right? Something like that.
I'm not mean. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40
Yeah.
hours.
Right.
It's so you're not gonna like it's just not gonna merge well with Southern culture at all.
It's a different culture for sure. I mean, they're very sweet people. They're nice. I mean, the ones, that you meet,
Yeah,
but I do also see a lot of the talking, the gossiping, that type of stuff.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
one of those that's like, say what you mean what you say,
Mhm.
whatever, you know, I can get around that.
And I
And,
know if I wanna find out about you, I'm just gonna go to a prayer circle and see what they're praying about.
I'll
I'll
go to
know all the
Google.
gossip. I also like, and I see this with Lauren. Well, this is just my opinion, and I don't mean to sound nasty, but Lauren to me at this point looks like she's so Botoxed up, and her hair is
Mhm.
always done in a certain way, and it screams of this like ideology of perfection, of needing to
Mhm.
have perfection,
Yep.
which in that ways I do feel sorry for anybody that's under that pressure. But in that small bubble of who was it on somebody's channel, they were looking at her dating profile from when she was like,
Well, I was looking at Cultural Hall or listening to a podcast, that she did. She and Richie T. Stedman, they were the founders of the Cultural Hall
uh-huh,
podcast or whatever, and that's what, it's Active Mormons, I guess, you know, people fall away, but
yeah,
I mean, that's my understanding of it, but I was listening to in 2020, in April of 2020, um, it's like, where are they now? You know, and so
yeah,
Lauren was on there, over the phone, it's a podcast, and, she and John were showing their house later that day, in St. George to make the move to Las Vegas, and her child was, like, 2, she said, and, so anyways, and no mention, this is that smack dab in the middle of our case I mean, just shit was crazy. We were looking for the kids. This is around the time that, you know, Melanie Gibb was interviewed by Nate Eaton. I mean, just the zombie stuff, like what? It was the depths of hell. Okay. And so confusing. And I don't remember a lot of it, but, so, and not one time did Lauren say anything about starting a podcast, sitting at the damn dinner table with her, I don't know, husband, maybe. I don't know. And, yeah, so how do you go from, I followed the case from the very beginning, the AP article that came out, to Nate Eaton, you know, uh, meeting them in Hawaii and saying, you know, where are the children? And then, and also having Julie Rowe. I mean, just all these fringe Mormons. Okay, they cover them on this Cultural Hall podcast, you know, and
yeah.
so I'm just like, how are you steeped in it, lady, and you're not part of it? I really am. That's where I'm at right now, too. In my opinion, she's part of it, allegedly.
I've felt for a while, again, yeah, allegedly, this is just my opinion, all right, that
Not stalking,
her and John were sent in to be your handlers,
to
and
handle the narrative, in my opinion,
to handle
and
y'all,
make
and
money.
I think your mom and your stepdad, I mean, you guys
Mhm.
were all overwhelmed.
According to a source I have, a very dependable, you know, I can rely on this person with everything. Um, but it was said that Lauren spoon-fed my parents' LDS, the Mormonism stuff.
Yeah,
So, you know, and to this day, my mom is like, "What do you?" Well, she doesn't really see the big deal, and
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't even know where to start." You know, I've been screaming it, and but then you have people in their ears, you know,
yeah.
uh, and that
You guys
people
were
put on a
overwhelmed.
pedestal, and
You guys were so overwhelmed, I can't even imagine what that was like. So it's not like you have your bearings anyway, you
mm-mm,
know? It's
you don't.
shocking. It was shocking for the public. I can't imagine what it was like for you guys, you know?
Mhm. I've
And
been
s
overwhelmed by it, just by the information, you know, I'm like, and this connect because I can see it in my mind, it's laid out, like, it's been there, exposed, but
yeah,
it's hard putting that to, paper or to, you know, my lips to your ears and
yeah,
making it make sense. It's so complex, so many moving parts, so many moving doctrines and teachings and beliefs and practices and just culture, I mean, just all the things, everything, all the way up to the NWO. I'm like, "Oh my god,
it's well,
no way."
if you read Visions of, it goes back to Visions of Glory. Like, what is he talking about in these visions? He's talking about accepting the New World Order. In these
Mhm.
visions, Kresha, he talks about like once the tribulation starts, that there will
Yep.
be guards
Changing.
Zion here on earth, and that if people come
Yep.
up, and even if they're good people, but they don't accept Mormonism, they're going to get cast away. And like these people are
Exactly.
gonna
I
have, like,
actually found a scripture the other day from the Book of Mormon, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I remember clipping this," but, I mean, it was very geared up to where if you do turn away from the Book of from the gospel, Christ's gospel or whatever, then you're gonna get it doesn't say we're gonna red rum you or anything, but it's just like, "Mhm, they're gonna smite
you're,
your ass
yeah, I
and
mean,
my ass."
these humans like Tom Harrison from and it's something Lorraine and I talked about this off camera once, because I keep saying, I was never a Mormon, so there's obviously some stuff, some nuance I'm not going to pick up on, which a person like Lorraine, who was raised Mormon, would understand. But then we came to this understanding that it's actually really cool to have non-Mormons and Mormons working together, because there are things you and I, Kresha, are going to see that a Mormon's
Mhm.
not going to see.
Exactly, and vice versa,
Yeah,
but they think they can ice you out completely, and they got it, and they can explain it, but there's a short-sightedness because
yeah,
you're too close, you're too involved, and so you're not seeing it, and I mean, it takes all of us to make the world go round. I'm not in competition, but with this religion or this culture for sure, they're very competitive, and you heard it here first,
yeah.
okay? You got the truth. I have the one true church, the one true gospel. I have the one true prophet, you know? And so it's like the savior complex, but there are people who are wanting to save other people and they can't even save themselves. That's
Right.
what I see.
Right. It's well, that's because the Mormon faith, what they're taught that there's certain
It breeds narcissism
and that
bad.
you have to do good works to get into heaven, which is
Yeah,
very
not
different from traditional Christianity. Traditional Christianity believes that your salvation is paid for by Jesus. That's where the blood atonement came from. We look at like Brenda Lafferty, the Lafferty case, which
yeah.
is under the banner of heaven. Um,
All the way up to the way they carry out death penalties, okay?
yep. It's
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 spilling
it's
blood and atoning for one's whatever
yeah.
sins.
Absolutely, and they this is why, and that's why it's so dangerous. I found the old, have you seen that very, very old documentary called The God Makers? They have
Oh,
part 1
yeah.
and part 2.
That anti-Mormon
Yeah.
rhetoric.
It's and they have that one lady in part 2 that talks about the how her, like, family members have been blood atoned, and then that she
Mm.
scared
Yeah, she's
for
a
her life,
Larene. Yeah.
and then she went missing after they were done. She
Yep.
was found
Her
dead.
husband was killed that way, and then she was too, and that's actually Anna LeBaron's, I wanna say sisters.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, because I mean, that's the first cult I ran across and it was like, "Oh my god," murder or I'm sorry, killings were happening after the fact, after he was in prison and then after he died in prison, and so whenever my mom's being labeled and if they're in prison, so what
yeah.
okay,
How
what are we
different is this
doing?
from blood atonement?
Right, and so
How
why pick up the torch? There's not this big cult following, right? There's a cult, 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 so they can put it in their headlines and get salacious and just be gross, right? You heard it here first. It's just it's so what is the word? Sensationalized.
And this is a here's
Mm.
Chad's psychology and here's Lori's. Well, it goes
Yeah,
deeper than that, Dr. John.
he brings everybody away from the church too and the teachings and the Book of Mormon because he puts it on the psychological aspect of it.
And
And I'm not saying it's anybody else's fault for doing, creating what became Chad and Lori Daybell. I mean, Lori still follows the prophet, because
that was my
she didn't get
question. Do you
excluded.
do you think Lori, do you think she fully believes, what she claims to
I
believe?
believe, I believe that she went through a second anointing and was exalted here on this life in this life, and that apparently works with unaliving people and being exalted. Everything that she said to my uncle that's in his court filings,
Yeah.
initially everything she said to my uncle is verbatim second anointing. I can't prove whether it happened. I can get you up to it. We have the temple when they visited November 16th through the 18th, the Preparing a People Mesa event. Um, so this was about a month, I want to say almost a month after they met in St. George. Uh, in October, I mean, how do you meet somebody and then just start plotting? Okay, something
Right.
is wrong, very wrong, and just him with the owl necklace and having access to the church meeting house 2.6 miles down the road from him and Tammy's house in Rexburg. I mean, not to mention they're having to do surveillance these days because there's a lot of man activities allegedly happening around them parts. I mean, and we have Heather Daybell who testified saying that she would see Chad's vehicle there at the church after hours, and she's like, "You can't be riding there," but if not, he was riding at BYUI, which is at a university. It's a university,
University, it's
first
an
off.
indoctrination program. Look, you guys. So I want to pause on the owl thing again with Chad. Will
Mhm.
you repeat what you said there about the owl, Kresha, for people in the
I
back
mean,
here?
basically, it's a pendulum. It was an owl necklace or yeah, it was found and lost and found in the church, apparently. Maybe. I mean, this is the story we have to work with. Um, and it would determine, if somebody was light or dark, or I mean, even if with like the Lafferty brothers, I remember reading that their mom, that's how she would decide breakfast, lunch, and supper was swinging her pendulum.
Pendulums, y'all, pendulums are not, they read your
I did this
subconscious energy.
for my child to see, and I don't know, you don't know until you know,
Yeah, I have one
right?
right here. It's they're bullshit. I have one right here, guys. Like, it's not an out one. It's just one. It's bullshit. Like, okay, say yes for me. It'll swing a certain way. Say no, and it's reading your energy. This is not the definer of the value of someone's soul at all. It's reading your subconscious energy.
It's
It's
the
not
intention
spirit.
too.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
use your car keys. Like, I know somebody who uses her car keys in the grocery store to figure out which fruit she needs to buy. Like, that's
Oh,
fine.
wow.
Like, it's
But I
not.
mean, this determined the sex of my baby by, the way I don't know,
Yeah.
this is just
Oh, my
things
mom
that
did that.
I
So,
call them old wives' tales, but it's
yes,
really
my
it's
mom did that
crazy.
when my sister got pregnant with her first child. She walked in my
Yeah.
mom's house. My mom pulled a piece of hair out of my sister's head, took a ring off to see, and it was right every time. But it's reading that subconscious. It's reading, you guys. But owls are important. So I pulled this up. I've talked about this before. Okay, in Atlanta. So Atlanta is, I mean, this is like 2 blocks from where I live. This is the old TBS, Turner Broadcasting System. This is
Mm.
CNN. CNN, the new CNN centers are actually across the
Oh,
freeway.
Susan Hendrick.
Yep. So here is the owl on top of the old TBS center. It's people in
Mm,
Atlanta have tried
mhm.
to get this taken down. The owl is facing
I
the
mean, I just see hologram Jesus all over
hologram.
again,
There's the
right?
owl. So owls are really important in the Illuminati. There's the same owl on Epstein Island. Owls are really important in the Illuminati because what they see in the dark.
Doesn't it have to do also with astral projection or the
Possibly.
I remember hearing like if you hear one, that means I don't know, I forget.
Well, there's
So I
I
don't
live
wanna mess
I
it
live
up.
in the foothills of Appalachia, and if
Yeah,
you
that's
hear
some
weird
wild
sounds in
stories you had over there. Oh
Appalachia,
my god.
no, you
That's some
didn't.
wild stories, man.
Yeah,
Whew.
it's Appalachia is we've had some skinwalker experiences. It's crazy in Appalachia. Like,
You're all I'll listen to your story, you and your boyfriend, and I'm just like, "Oh my god." I
it's
might go
fucking
listen to that again.
well, it's all like shape shifting shit. Like, this is all black magic bullshit.
Weird.
I actually, so here's my thought on Lori. I think you're correct. I think Lori has. I don't think she's making it up. I think she has seen.
The
I think
Lulu.
she has
Yeah.
seen Moroni, and I think, and my opinion, guys, this is not my opinion. I mean, this is not fact. I think Moroni is the same entity that
Mhm.
Anton LaVey was speaking about with Morono. In
I
the
mean, it also, there's this channel creator. She goes by Wise Words Kit. Okay. And she I mean, this is what she does, for a living. She has background in this. And she basically would she's read Chad's books, she's read all the cult members' books and anything she can get her hands on. And she analyzes it. It's been like the best, like psychoanalysis of their writings,
check that out. Will you send me
it's
that when we get off? Because I would
I
love.
mean, I would love for, like, us to all talk about it because, I mean, she is just a wealth of knowledge, and she just finished, she made herself finish Visions of Glory, right? It's a drag, man. You're just like, "What?" You don't see what they see.
we are going through, Lorraine and I have been going through it. We paused because there's so much that I felt like we needed to discuss
Mhm.
about like the tenets of Mormonism for people to see. Because if you don't understand the tenets of Mormonism or you don't understand the occult, I don't think you can read this and have the same experience like of what's happening here. Because listen, I mean, first of all, in the beginning, this is all narcissism because he talks about how he's got this special permission. He can do this. Me. That's all this book is me. I'm the
He's got
special
all this next to Jesus. Yeah, all the things. And
I'm so humble. He says that. How many times does he say that in this fucking book?
yeah,
I'm
you're not,
so
Tom.
humble. I don't want any attention.
Go to
And
confession.
and then he talks about when he's dead, how he like knows who's sleeping with who
Yeah. And he
gossip.
don't like his wife, it seems. It
Nope.
really does not seem like he likes his wife or values her or anything. Or before she died, allegedly. I don't know. I
It's
mean, I just think he's part of the system, but
I absolutely do too. And the fact that he was really close to one of those prophet men, one of those quorum men, that
well, I mean,
screams
he's been put in
jealousy.
that position too. I think he's in those circles. I mean, he
Yeah.
talks about what's the apostle Neil A. Maxwell, the one that told him not to write the book or, publish his quote unquote near death experiences, aka dreams, aka occult experiences in the MK Ultra program. Anyways,
It's
and then as soon as he died, he published it, and then guess who had the letter? Guess who had the letter that Tom mailed to her directly? That this letter that he supposedly that he or at least we've been told that he sent to the first presidency, because everybody was given a little flag back on Visions of Glory, and he was like, I'm not a guru, blah blah blah, but then he's also doing firesides and going speak in front of 500 freaking people, giving out free books, and and he does do the podcast, and it is I am big
me. It's
time.
all about
I
me.
even actually, I swear, I want to show you where in one of their podcasts for sure, him, Tim Ballard, and Ken Krogh, to me it sounds like they're having a chrome party.
Yeah, really.
Talking about it. And I mean, again, people are going to look at me like I'm crazy and whatever,
I don't think you're girl. I think you're spot on.
and I mean, I'm okay with that. You just have to kind of get okay with it. I just don't want to shock people either, but I mean, I don't think I am. I think
There's
I
there's
think
a really famous
Epstein stuff does. That shocks you. Uh, but I
there's
think that's the reality of these victims over and over and over again.
there's a really famous quote, and I can't remember if anybody can remember who said it. Please put it in the comment section. It says, "The truth is belligerent. The truth is belligerent."
Yeah.
And
And it's
I
wild.
it is. It's belligerent. It doesn't care. The truth doesn't care. My dog's
Mm-mm.
barking. He agrees. Um,
Again?
he agrees. Yeah. It's so funny, you guys. I our dog is a rescue from India.
Shut up.
And I brought like 6 dogs back from India, but Ravi, we gave him an name. He was rescued as a puppy, so he's just basically lived here. And we're vegetarians, but we use my friend Catherine's holistic diet for him, and so he eats a lot of like raw meat. And every time
Oh,
I give him ground beef or whatever, I'm like, body of Christ, because
compels you.
he's a like this is Hindu, like body of Christ. So it's but no, I actually okay, you guys get this. Like this is how unoriginal as I said, darkness can't create anything, only the light can. So it steals from the light and it inverts.
Mhm.
So in this
Yeah.
beginning of Visions of Glory, the Ford, it says here 3 of Spencer, Tom Harris's visions were classic near-death experiences. The first one took him to his premortal past. The next took him to his present and near future. The third showed him what would happen in the millennium and the distant future. And I wrote my notes, get the fuck out of here. That's a Christmas story.
It is.
That's a
That's why I
Christmas
said
story.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Go check it out too. You'll also get some Tom Harrison knowledge there. You'll get some
Right.
insight into Tom Harrison.
It is crazy. It is absolutely no demonic entities because I do believe I have a very strong faith in God. I believe in the spiritual world. I do believe in angels and demons will always get you with fear. The first thing they'll show you is bad things. Well, what's the first thing Tom Harrison saw? Catastrophe, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Doomsayers for a reason.
Yep.
They make money off of it too.
And he says, "Call Spencer now. I knew it was the Holy Spirit." And I'm thinking, how did you know it was the Holy Spirit? Did you ask?
They
Because
do. They believe in this though. Have you not heard of this where they can
it's
shake their hands and know whether somebody is a demon or not?
it's fucking bananas to me.
I
It's
think
like
it's that.
this is like common sense. If the Bible has specified the Holy Spirit as Holy Spirit, what they're saying is that there's multiple spirits, but this one's the holy one. It's how you distinguish it from like the bad spirits. But if you're not, it's all ego based, you guys. It is all
It
fucking
is.
ego based. It's
Not
not.
not everybody's discernment is on point. Mine wasn't. I mean, and it's gonna happen that way again. I mean, it's not like the last time I'm done, like, I'm done with being duped now.
Yep.
No. I
No.
mean, oh man.
Yeah.
We
It's
all we don't
it's
need to pick on anybody and say that
no.
they're in a cult. Because I'm like, I might be in one too with the way the world I live in. I'm like, I had this whole other perception, this whole other understanding of the world. I mean, as much as I could grasp it, but now I'm like, oh my God, they lied about this. Oh my God, that's not at all what I was taught. What do you mean they're still alive? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just weird. And I think they're still fooling us now. I think they're
Oh, I'm
toying
sure.
with us right now.
I take everything with a grain of salt. I
Yep.
try to make the best decisions I can, but I know that, this is not according to the law of one, where we are on planet Earth, third density. This is not the density of knowing. It's density of making
Thank
choices.
God.
I
Just
know, right? So good news, enlightenment's not possible in this life. And so we make choices of whether we're going to serve the light. I mean, that's basically all third density is for, is to make choices of whether you're going to serve the light or serve the darkness. It's service to others or service to self that you make these choices.
sounds
And
like Julie Rowe, how she's like, you can sign contracts and blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to,
there's no, it's not there.
yeah.
The law doesn't talk about any contracts, but it's just every day. You like, okay, this might sound a little funny. So they say like you have to be like 51% service to others to go. So you can have like 49% of you could be an asshole as long as you like do some good stuff for people. But this is why we see, so enslavement is a huge part of the dark path, enslavement. So what are these prophets, seers, and revelators, these core people doing? They're enslaving. You have to pay 10%. You have to do this. You have to do
Blackmail.
that. You
Yeah.
have to give us your children. You have to do
It's
all
with
this.
condition. Everything's conditional.
Yeah, everything. There's no unconditional love. There's no,
And it's
it's,
fraud. It's just dupery. Mm,
yeah.
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm not saying, and I've said this before, when I first started covering Mormonism, Kresha, people would come in my comment section and be like, well, what about the other churches? And I'm like,
What about 'em? They suck too.
I know I have over 1,000 videos on my channel, and half of them are me dragging the mainstream church. So
And I didn't know that till later in my research. I wasn't confident enough to say, yeah, I don't know. I'm not Chad and Lori brought this was my introduction to the Book of Mormon. If it was the freaking, Catholic Church, I'd be up their ass too.
yeah,
But I mean, turns out that I'm also have been living in a false system as well.
yeah, it's
So I
yeah,
mean, it's not the same as Mormons and how they treat church and community and intertwine everything all together. They're very insular. And so it's like a double, it's so hard to reach one.
yeah,
I don't purposely ever reach out to them. If they happen upon my channel, and whatever, I know I offend a ton of them. I know I offend the gems too. But when you think about the same tactics of these hidden gems, and knowing that Lauren is still a member of her church, and she's always going to be a member, and she loves that church. It's who she is. She identifies. This is her identity.
and that's
And
so sad. Like
the
that, when people,
active members were told, or taught, they were taught to, Elder Ballard in, I want to say 2007, he went and spoke at a graduation ceremony in BYU, Hawaii. And he was talking about digital media and how, don't just stand around and let people tell you what you believe. Take to social media, and that's what you're seeing.
yeah,
That's these waves of vlogging, blogging, blogging, vlogging, and the exploitation that we're seeing, right? I mean, it's remnants. That's why I think Lauren is so involved and
yeah,
is so possessive of the story and people in it, in my
I was
experience.
so mad at my video on Monday. I was so mad at I'm still mad at Dr. John Dehlin, but
I'm
I
disappointed.
I
Sad.
said, like, Lauren doesn't own why do you think Lauren owns it? She doesn't own if anybody owns this story, it's the victims. Like,
But I
Lauren
wanna know if there's
just like
some
we are.
history with those 2.
Do what?
I wanna know if there's history with those 2 as far as the bloodline thing of
He's defending her like no one's business. I am
I
so
know, even if by not saying anything is just as complicit, and he knows that.
well,
He's
he
heard that in all his stories that he has on, you know?
so what do you think of the whole so Mindy Caldwell, we talked about it earlier. She did put up a statement, didn't she? Kind of saying,
Mhm.
I can't ignore this, like this is
Yeah.
bad. What do you feel about her statement? What do you feel about her? And I haven't seen her back on Mormon Stories since she put that post up.
Yeah, and, I really am grateful. I was surprised, that that's kinda different, but I'm also very leery, just being honest. Because
Yeah.
I mean, okay, well, who's keeping me on the rails now? There's always gonna be somebody, I think, at least the way they work. I don't know. I'm not saying Mindy's like that. I'm just saying it did surprise me that she did, and I was proud, I was happy to see her take a stand. But then I also there's the part of me that here's this okay, let's think about Lauren and her roommate that she had in Boise for both Idaho trials for sure. Sarah, no, well, I'll just keep her name out right now, but I mean, it's in the stalking injunction. She wrote a declaration for, Lauren to basically frame Christina, and it was nothing was firsthand knowledge of anything. She didn't witness anything,
Right.
but she threw her credentials out there, and that's when I learned or began to realize that Sarah is the same person that she put on the memorial for the kids. Basically, she offered the venue for free, yada yada yada. And then you have Lauren up there in her video coverage where she's so proud about these 144 roses, y'all.
Do
Come
you think that
on.
was sorcery? Do you think that
Yes, I
maybe
think it is freaking that's what I'm saying. They're like they continue the sacrifice. I don't know what that is. I don't know what to call it yet,
yeah.
but it's like they continue to demean and in plain sight and under the guise of doing good. Hello, Tim Ballard. I mean, it's the same concept.
Yeah.
It's the same and being rewarded and paid and just thought of as a good person, as one of me, one of us, like, "No, ma'am, we're not on the same
Boy,
side." Mm-mm.
did you see this comment, Kresha? His child works with Lauren, Kimberly
I
Porter.
did hear that. I did hear that.
That you did hear that? Because I have not heard that.
Mhm. I don't
His
know how
child's
to,
not Grayson, is it?
and I mean, right? I mean, I don't think so, but I mean, it just makes me wonder. I mean, and also it goes to like Sundance, okay? Sundance, that was Robert Redford's. Robert Redford was married to Sterling Van Wagenen's sister. Sterling Van Wagenen is in prison right now. Um, oh, my daughter's calling. um, Anyways, so and Gordon Bowen, the alleged LDS Church of Punisher, I'm sorry, LDS Church of Satan Punisher, alleged Punisher.
Wow.
Okay, like that's these people. I mean, okay, so guess whose picture or photograph was framed on Epstein's office wall? Robert Redford.
Yep.
You can't make this shit up. And I mean, don't. Anyways, I've got so many.
I mean, girl, it's so just me 5927 said I don't understand why I'm not getting these notifications. That happens sometimes. And Crush and I both live on Shadow Band Lane. So YouTube just sometimes doesn't notify
Yeah,
people. If you
it's
are
called social scoring.
yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
call it.
We're broke. We're like,
Yeah,
fuck
I'm
that.
so broke.
So in all ways, but
I'm gonna have to go sell my blood now.
yeah,
I'm just
exactly,
kidding.
right? Like I and that's why I feel like I said my thing about and I saw I wanted to respond to another comment. Um John Dehlin is not supporting her. He hasn't spoken out, but he denounced her actions by using my email made clear that he spoke with Thrive. He also the other day though on a recent show like called her a friend of the channel. So I don't know. Somebody said he walks a tightrope. I just
Around Mindy or Lauren?
um well, I think talking about
Lauren.
Lauren.
Yeah.
I just feel like, I understand when there are times to be neutral, but this is not
Yeah, this
it's
ain't
not
one
really
of
one
them.
of those. Yeah, this is not like this is
Not
there
take up
is
for your
room
Mormon or your
for
ex-Mormon your people. It's like, come on, dude. I mean,
it's
it's pretty
overwhelming.
plain to see.
Yeah,
And platforming them that's the one thing I'm just like, I would be neutral in the sense of be like, yeah, well, you know. But I mean, same thing with Mormon discussions.
exactly.
I've been in their chats, I've supported them all these years. Nobody would ever acknowledge my existence. Plus, Lauren would never acknowledge my existence or my voice or anything. I have felt so silent or just muted or just irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious now, at that time, I didn't really I could feel it sometimes, but I mean, I get in my feels too. I understand. But,
It's
I don't
I
know.
want to say too, and Pressure, I swear to God, like if I can do anything in this life, I will connect you with whoever I've got to connect you with because what your research is so important. Not only is it important for justice for the victims, but again, when we understand this and we see what happened, we one of my favorite quotes by Ram Dass is we're all just walking each other home and
Yeah.
we can protect each other. The Goyim, us peasants. In my channel, we joke that we'd much rather be a peasant anyway. Us
Mhm.
peasants, we can protect
Ain't
each
no
other.
change. No change for us.
Yeah, we can, in these different organizations, we can watch out for each other's children. We can see, that's what makes me so mad about another thing about the JJ and Tylee situation. It's like, what the fuck with all these other adults? If I was in a situation, even as someone, if
Mhm.
I thought maybe they were joking around about a child being a zombie, I still would probably be like, what the fuck? And if there were weird shit going on, I would go to the cops immediately
Yeah,
because
not, "Oh, if I see you put some more, rugs in your husband's drinks," and I wanna say it was also for JJ too, but I don't know. I don't remember. But, then I'm gonna go to the cops. Well, she didn't.
no,
And I mean, then you've got, like, again, I have to, like, compartmentalize because I respect and I'm so grateful for the detectives and the people who, had to deal with all the recovery and just all that stuff, okay? I mean, I can't imagine, and I'm grateful, but then there's the other part of me that's like, no one's above being, compromised. No one's above corruption. No one's exalted here. Like, just
no.
because you, are a hero and, part of me, that's what I'm saying. I have to compartmentalize. It's really weird how I do this. I don't know. I kind of wonder sometimes. I'm like, I don't know if this is healthy or not, but it's what I've had to do
Yeah,
and where I can respect them. I respect Nate and what he does as far as, you know, as above, so below, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
But I also can see through the bullshit. I can see where it's exploitative. I can see where it's opportunistic, where it's like, no, we're gonna ice you out because not that I'm anybody, but again, when you start seeing no evidence or evidence, sometimes no evidence is evidence, so
Right.
when you have people steadily saying, because I mean, I've watched everything that these people have covered,
Yeah. Oh,
everything.
absolutely. I
Because
like
it's my family story, so it's not my research, it's their stories
it's
that
just
have never been told.
I agree. I think you do have a higher a calling, not in the sense that you're
Yes,
and they
right.
bored you because well the thing is like you once this is the thing about this group, this club that none of us are in. Once you see it, you can't
Yeah,
unsee it.
nope.
It's
You
done.
want to. You
You
want to.
want to, like, but you can't get the shit back in the horse, right? Like it's
Nope.
Pandora's box has opened. And so I will do. I mean, I've been very even though I live on Shadowban Lane, I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of big people. And I will do whatever you are comfortable with, Kresha, to get you connected to people to get this story out there because the research that you have found is
It's their
so
story.
valuable. It is their story. And
And
it's
I don't understand that part, like, where people I hear this all the time now, for sure, And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." Like, I don't get it, I guess. I don't know. I
It's
guess because 'cause I've
because
not changed anything that I've been doing, it's just the same old
well, that's why
for
your
me.
channel's difficult research, right? Like, it's so much
Yeah,
easier for us as a society to accept a story, the narrative that Laurie and Chad just went crazy with their own beliefs.
and just
But
chalk it off as that and
yeah,
just be like, "Well, people just go crazy sometimes."
that
I
this
can't
is
live with
just
that.
like a one-off and it's fine. But
Mhm.
if we actually understand that this is a Sabbatean death cult that has many
Yep.
different flavors in the world and that none of our kids are safe.
And they have holidays where they like to practice extra
Yep,
heavy, and just
absolutely.
because they believe in it, uh, that's where you need to be worried, is because they believe in it.
I
It's
believe it.
it's
I
ridiculous to us. It's evil to us,
yes.
it's immoral, it's all those things, it's disgusting. In fact, I think if they disappeared one day, then I think crime would just go to a
Yep.
screeching,
Me
crawl or
too.
whatever.
I
It
believe
it
that
would.
most people in the world, I think in most situations, you could live in a town where everyone keeps their doors unlocked. Honestly, I
Yep,
think most
because we
people
have
would
empathy
never.
and they do not,
Yeah, they
and
do
they try
not,
to mirror us. Yeah.
and they think
Mhm.
they're deserving of that. I've said that on my channel a lot because with my research into this cult Kresha too, I get so many people in my life are like, well, that's stupid. Lucifer isn't real. I'm like, that's what you believe.
Yeah.
And I'm
Tell
glad you
Tylee
believe that because that means you're not going to do
tell
this
Tylee
shit.
and JJ that. That's what I
Yeah,
say.
but they believe it. There's a reason why there was a temple on Epstein's island. It
Yep.
wasn't just a business of carpooling humans, we'll
Yeah.
say. There was a
Or,
fucking
yacht pulling.
temple. Like there was a temple. Why was there? And you go back to like Leviticus, you go back to these old Testament beliefs. I mean, Abraham, they all were practicing human sacrifice. If you read the lesser keys of Solomon, the keys of Solomon,
Yeah.
the Testament of Solomon, why do the churches venerate Solomon? The dude was a build back better guy. He was a Biden. Like
Mm.
he
Make heaven crowded again?
yeah, yeah, exactly. He make yeah, he he literally Solomon, if you guys read the Testament of Solomon, he tells you the reason why, because Solomon was not David's firstborn son, he was the son with Bathsheba. It doesn't matter if these people really existed or not. What matters is the story that they're following. Solomon
'Cause they know
became
it.
a king over his older brothers because his older brothers were not practicing the faith. David was practicing human sacrifice. So was
Mm.
Solomon. Solomon, what did the Freemasons, what are they trying to build their temple after Solomon's temple? What was Solomon doing in those temples? Acts to Yahweh or Moloch. What is Yahweh Moloch? Child sacrifice gods.
They do it with Jesus too. I mean,
Yeah,
even let's say pretend it's a made up story, they still do that
yeah.
and to like get us, because we're like, what? Anyways, I don't know. It's and I mean, think about Jim Caviezel being dressed up in Passion of the Christ, or I think it's mocking, it's a
There's
mockery.
something very a lot of people, a lot of conspiracy theorists I know are obsessed with Jim Caviezel, and I know he's spoken out
Uh-uh.
about the Drano, but there's something about
They're allowed to,
and that
just like Mel Gibson.
yeah,
I
there's something
mean,
the wrong way. There's something about him that makes me feel a little bit weird,
mm,
a little bit weird. And
not to
so
mention he's with them, so
yeah,
nope.
it's a little weird, y'all.
Yeah.
There's so much, but I think because this, if you could understand, and I don't think all of us goyim, all of us peasants will ever fully, totally understand their spells and rituals. But I'm telling
Mm-mm.
you guys, these are old Sumerian, Old Testament. I lent my book out, but there's a great book you can get called Dead Names. It's written
Mm.
by Simon. It's a pseudonym. I'm under the belief, and a lot of people are under the belief that Peter Levenda wrote it. Peter Levenda is super big in like the esoteric world, and it's about the Necronomicon. And I've covered the
Oh,
Necronomicon.
yeah. That's how I learned about it, was through you, now that I think about it. Yep.
It's so weird and it's so juicy. But the first part,
Necromancy.
the last part of the book about the Necronomicon is really not the interesting part. The interesting part is the first part of the book, where he talks about the different esoteric occultism, where it comes from an old Sumerian faith. Like this shit's been around since the beginning. And they have kept it.
Adam and Eve,
It is,
or, Cain and Abel, right? I
yep.
mean,
It's
and Gordon Bowen, that's what he studies is is secret combinations, which is that murder and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it's
covered
wild.
this actually a long time ago. I don't, some of my guys, I'm telling you guys, I don't ever take videos off of YouTube, but I've had YouTube take a few of my videos down. So if there's ever anything, the first time YouTube like got mad at me, I did a multi-part deep dive into the Giants. And someone had requested this. And so I was doing a viewer request. And when I got the request, I was like, I don't really want to cover the Giants, but I was like, whatever, I'll just do a show. I ended up in such a rabbit hole. I learned that a great place to get information is lawsuits. I looked at all of these lawsuits against these archaeologists, against the Smithsonian, where they had sued the Smithsonian because they'd sent these like 25-foot remains from all over the world to the Smithsonian to preserve them and help fund their research into where these giants came from. And they get back, and lo and behold, the Smithsonian's incinerated the fossils. And so they
Dang.
sued the Smithsonian. And the Smithsonian's defense was they had to
Whoa.
defend the narrative. What's the narrative? Is evolution. And if we have giants, well, also RH negatives, hello, we just
There
put
you
them.
go. I didn't know that
Yeah.
until just recently watching one of your older ones on RH negative about it. It proves evolution.
We can't, it doesn't.
Well,
And so some scientists are so hell bent on accepting evolution as a fact that they have now labeled RH negatives as a completely different species. That's
yeah,
bullshit.
alien.
We're all human beings.
Because
So
aliens make sense.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, though we're gonna get into that, how they justify, but RH negatives, we don't have the rhesus factor. That's the rhesus monkey. But that deep dive, I'm so grateful to my viewer who suggested that, because it really changed my perspective on things just looking into the giants. Because there was so
Yeah.
much more there. But that was the first time YouTube like struck me. I guess
Sorry.
I had gotten a little, because there's lots of videos on the giants on YouTube, but I guess my video had gotten a little too close because I was going through the
Yeah.
lawsuits against the Smithsonian, right?
They
And
punish
when you
us.
got it from the Smithsonian's own mouth, then it's yeah, it is. It's just a theory. It's the only Darwinian theory that I can get behind is survival of the fittest, because that just makes sense. That we adapt to our environment to survive. That's the only thing that makes sense. But yeah, it's
And
not.
then academia, because that's right.
Yep.
Everybody just kind of like everybody, whenever there are court hearing, or I'm sorry, trials, people are like, but that's not what they said. And you're like, well, but they have their own theory that they take to trial
Yep.
and convict the criminal. Anyways, it's interesting how the world works.
Some things are stashed away in places, but they incinerated the stuff that's really scary that can
Hey,
really pull the rug out.
hey, everybody, there are so many different families, at least 5 right off the top of my head, that are a part of this Firm Foundation, Firm Expo, preparing a people, the Mormador, basically. Even did y'all know that our prosecutor in Idaho, that he's related to the people who cremated the kids? It actually
No.
said Wood, the last name Wood on the box. Yeah.
Is this not a conflict of interest?
I mean, somewhere.
I think that the judge was also a conflict of interest. Like, maybe I'm just used to living in a big city. I
That
know
was
Idaho's
like
small.
that to me was like to keep the, I don't know, the pain, the suffering, the agony, like, what is the point? Anyways, I don't know. I'd never
It's
been through this either, so I was just like, "Oh, okay." You know? I mean, you don't realize these things when you're going through it, but you start to see it afterwards when you're looking back, and, like, just because of Lauren and what she did and exposing herself, it caused me to question everything that that
everything.
woman and her husband have said and put out there, uh, about our case, about the kids, about Tammy, about, Joe and Charles. I mean, just about everybody. It's their narrative. It's their theory, and, whatever makes Lauren feel good.
And their job, just like the Smithsonian, was to protect the narrative. And
Right.
criminals always go back to the scene of the crime. Now, I'm not
I
saying that Lauren was present for the unalivings, but I think
No,
it's her coven. I think
she
it's her
definitely
opinion.
isn't, she's part of the problem, in my opinion.
She's 100%, and so is Dr. John. And you cannot tell me that those two people are actually in love.
No, I don't even think they've lived with now, that I've had to comb back through some of their their material, their content, um, it's like, I'm like, "I don't think they've lived together for the last couple of years."
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
I think she's
Yeah,
a lesbian, if I'm
it's
gonna
an
be
act.
completely honest with you.
I've heard people say that,
I
you
just think
know?
and
Same thing that they've said about Melanie Boudreaux.
listen, this is okay,
I don't know.
can we be catty for a little while? Just be catty.
Sure.
Brandon's hot.
Mhm.
Why did she leave him? Like, I'm a little confused about this. He's hot. Like, I'm
For
sorry.
red, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with red hair. I've been trying to, deny that I've had red in my I'm
My
like, "No, I'm
boyfriend's
not a
got red hair.
redhead."
My boyfriend's a redhead, so that's an art. That's I highlight my hair. My hair is like a dirty blonde, but I have red tint. That's a very negative thing actually to have a little red in your hair. But my boyfriend's a
Sure.
redhead. But I'm like I'm a little confused. I'm a little bit confused about why she
Yeah, it don't add up,
it's not
right?
it's mathing on that. I'm a woman. I'm a straight woman. I'm like that's if I had to pick between the two,
And
you know,
well, Felicia has a good point. She said, "The fact that Lauren goes after women speaks volumes to me."
yeah. Yeah. Oh, where is that? I'll put that on the screen if I can find
It's
it
at the
here.
very
But
bottom.
very bottom. Okay.
Well,
Let's see.
not anymore.
Bottom. Here we go. Here we go.
Imma look into the thing about Denver Snuffer too, because 'cause I've looked into his things too, because that a lot of people wanted to say that Chad was starting, the Snufferite, kind of the movement with, and then Lauren tried to bring up, Lauren, oh my god, too many la la la. Uh, Lauren would say that, "Oh, I was told, that, Lori was looking at this book by Denver Snuffer, and it's called The Second Comforter." And I'm like, "And it's in Bruce R. McConkie. It's in your doctrine, crazy." Like, oh my
Yeah.
god. They
They
try to
keep telling on
scapegoat
themselves.
other people just because they turned away from the church or got whatever their reason.
Yeah.
And, again, the whole point, what I came to realize was, whenever, like, okay, so if I deny the church, I'm not an apostate. But people who have been who have gotten the true gospel and the true church and all the things, when they turn away, they are apostates. So your ex-Mormons are apostates, and they're going to go to what Mormons call, um,
Outer
oh my god,
darkness.
yeah, outer darkness, which is a shunning, y'all.
It's total
It's
shut.
it's isolation, and that's what they do in life, okay? When they say, "Oh, no, we don't do that." Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they're doing it now, you know, and
I
they
actually
ice
outer
you
darkness
out.
sounds like that's where the party's
Mhm.
gonna be at anyway. So
I
but
know. I
that's
mean,
crazy, Kresha.
I love it.
You and I can deny the church all we want, and we will rate higher in the death scale than someone like
I
Larene.
mean, why not? It's already been rated, you know what I mean? They got it down in the book of life or whatever they were saying Chad called
Whatever
it,
Chad
which
says.
is the book of what's opposite of the book of life.
No, I absolutely well, I don't even okay, this is just gossip. This is not again, this is not factual. This is just my spidey
It's
senses.
that
I think
hot
Lauren
goss.
this is hot goss. This is some tea. This is just it's not factual tea. I
It's not
think
true.
that Lauren is a lesbian, and I think Dr. John is asexual. Like I don't get any
Oh,
type of
yeah.
I
That makes
just
sense.
don't get any type of like
Allegedly.
allegedly. Yeah, that's just my I mean, I don't know these people. I've never met them. Maybe my opinion would change.
I have.
Yeah, well, Kresha
I've
has.
never met John,
um,
but,
I just
I don't
don't
know.
I just think and I know that like I don't care what your sex listen, your sexuality
Yeah.
doesn't are you a good person or not? That's what I care about. I
But if
don't
you
care
can't
about
even be true to yourself, then you know what I mean? That comes look at Jody Hildebrandt, y'all.
right. And now that we have confirmation from her daughter's book, which I totally listened to on Audible. I didn't read it, I
Yeah.
listened. And yeah, she
It
called,
drives me crazy though too how I know I'm not shaming victims, trust me. I would never do that, but it's like you can't be part of the system and not also be part of it,
right.
you know?
You can't have it
Um,
halfway. There's no half
and so I think Kevin, in my opinion, allegedly he got the good end of the deal.
yeah.
He was able to also scapegoat his wife and pass it off onto her. and let her take all of it, and then he was able to, kind of come out smelling like a rose.
So Kimberly Porter, I did not mean to upset you with that comment, but there is, if you go and look at research, there's tons of different anomalies. That doesn't mean that an RH
Kimberly,
positive,
I want to be smarter, damn it.
it doesn't mean that RH
One
positive
time?
can't
No,
be high
I'm
IQ
kidding.
too. It just, there's like our body,
Kinda
like my body
characteristic.
temperature is 94. Like there's just all these different that they study, that they're scientists that actually study this. They spend their life studying this because we're such an anomaly. We're
These
such
are like maybe common things
yeah,
or
very common
something.
things that separate the two. That's why
Hmm.
the scientists that cannot get rid of this notion of evolution have specified us as a different species instead of just dropping evolution and restarting over again.
Is there
Listen,
some kind of check I can apply for or something?
I know, right? Like and
Yeah.
it's funny, like all of the monarchy is RH negative, all of our presidents are RH negative, every single president has been RH negative.
Well, I
Um,
don't want to be like them though. Damn,
no,
I'll go get a
it's well, I
transfusion.
think so. I know where mine comes from. I know where mine comes from. So my 5 times great grandmother is Queen Victoria, me and thousands of other people. What a
Oh,
wretched
man.
bitch she was. If you guys want to know about Victoria's little secret, like she was a wretched person. I'm so glad I don't look like her. Let's just but that's where my inbreeding stops. Because my great grandmother was the daughter of one of the dukes, and I'm not going to say his name because I have cousins and stuff, and this duke was like the Prince William of that time for us with when Elizabeth was alive. He was in line for the crown, and he fucked up, I think on purpose from what I know,
Okay,
because he fucked up. He and I hope my cousins and I and all of my extended family have his je ne sais quoi, because he seemed kind of cool. He there's this law in England that for the monarchy to marry, not only does it pass through has to be, go through the government channels like we do when we get married, but it also has to be anointed by the monarchy. Well, my great grandfather married a servant in secret. So he did not get the anointing, but
A
we had
Norman.
a kerfuffle. Victoria had a kerfuffle on her hand because her grandson married somebody, had a baby,
Oh man, I'm
and
pissed off everybody.
so the baby was technically in line now because she wasn't a bastard, as they would say, which I don't think any child's, but like
I'm considered what they call a bastard. My mom
I
was,
mean
yeah,
that's stupid.
I was
It's
here.
not, but you know how monarchy
I
is.
know. It don't bother me. I'm just like, yeah,
It's
labels, screw you.
fucking
I don't do the
whatever.
label thing. Or I
Whatever.
try not to.
According to Christianity, so is Jesus, So, but the monarchy, because they want to make sure the bloodline's pure. So
Mhm.
all these things happen. I don't want to give away too much, but to settle the score, my great grandmother was shipped at 9 years old from the UK.
Wayfair. No, but
Yeah, not
sorry,
well,
that's not
yeah.
funny.
I mean,
I'm so sorry. I'm
no,
so sorry.
well, guys, hello. We were right again with Wayfair. That's in the
Ah,
files. But it's obvious. Well, she
wow.
ended up moving to Philadelphia at 9 with her governess as her mother, and
Oh,
she changed her name. I can't remember if her name was Mary turned to Martha or Martha turned to Mary. It's one of the others.
hey, I'm sorry, but it just made me think about, is the Wayfair the Mayflower of our day? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
There a lot of
Mhm.
the original. I mean, I even think about that with what was it? Was it Joan? No, Jamestown. What was
Mm,
that when all those people went missing? Anyway, there's a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions
I do
about our
too.
history. Have you looked into Tartaria, Kresha?
I mean, I've looked into a little bit of everything. Did I retain it? No, absolutely not.
Tartaria was what blew my mind, and I was like, "Oh, our history is fucking wrong." Like when I started studying Tartaria, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like nothing we've been taught is accurate. And there is a great, like, is it 9 hours? It's like 7 to 9 hours. It's not Lauren's live, guys.
Lauren's live.
It's way more informative. It's called A History of the Flat Earth. And they don't really talk about the flat earth. It's more about Tartaria. Um, I would encourage everyone to yeah, no, the hemophilia has nothing to really do with the RH factor. It's hemophilia is just it's inbreeding. but I'm 5 generations down and no one has been. My cousins and I do laugh about that though, that we're from the South and it's not our Southern ancestors that were inbreeding, it's our royal.
That's when the tree goes straight up and don't branch out.
My parents are go straight. My parents aren't cousins. My grandparents weren't cousins. So yeah, Jojo, it's crazy. If you guys want your mind blown, if you can't find it on YouTube, go over to, I'll just say it now. I think we're deep enough into the video. Go over to Rumble and type in a history of the flat earth. It's like, I can't remember if it's like 6, 7 hours, 9 hours. It's really long, but it's super, super, super. It's like a proper documentary. You know, the one that Lauren said they were getting information for her, whatever. Tartaria, Taria, Tartaria. Yeah. And
Sounds
it's
like a seasoning that's in my cabinet.
yes,
Tartar.
the tartars. It gets in like what the cathedrals were really, all these old world videos. We can't build them, or buildings. We can't build like we used to build, like they did then. Like, how did they do it? How the old cathedrals or cathars, where they would take the stained glass out and sound comes through and that would heal. Like, it's very fascinating. And I'm not saying like it's all true, but it does give a very different perspective to what we've been taught, and it just kind of makes you go, huh. And my favorite Aristotle's quote is, "It's a sign of an intelligent mind when you can entertain an idea without accepting it." So it's very, very.
I do that all the time.
It happens, girl. No. Fire, water by design. We unfortunately have a line in our family where the child's grandfather is also his father. It happens, girl. Talk about with
I'm related to Jerry Lee Lewis, y'all. I don't know if I'm related to his cousin too. I don't know. Oh my God.
Thank you, Jojo. Yeah, Tartaria like that.
I'm working my way backwards, thanks to Lori and Chad, so like I was just digging into genealogy, signed up to those, whatever, ancestry.com or whatever. And so right before all the stuff transpired, I had asked Mom, because my mom's grandfather was adopted. And he, him and his siblings were taken in by or adopted by a Dr. White. Okay, first off, that's I'm already like, oh shit, here we go. And then like I want to say, I don't know this for sure, so this is just family gossip. I don't know. A possibility that the doctor, when his wife died, he married my grandfather's, basically his adopted daughter. So there's that shit. Anyways, I don't know. Allegedly, hearsay. I don't know.
I mean, that's what's happening on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, right? With Mary Cosby, Mary and her step.
Yeah. Oh, good. So I'm like, okay, then you have on my other side, on my dad's side, my real dad, that's the Jerry Lee Lewis, Mickey Gilley, what's the other dude's name? Oh my God, he's a preacher. Shit. A shitty one. Jimmy Swaggart.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, and it was also, I mean, I remember even going to like a meeting with some attorneys that had been, over the last couple decades had been trying to work with my real dad's side of the family, because a lot of 99 oil wells were stolen allegedly from my family in Southeast Texas by billionaires. Ooh, oil, you say? And so there's supposed to be like $399,000, or I'm sorry, $1 million in one. There's 5 banks, I remember being told. Anyways, but it's like you're fighting against the billionaires, So
right, you're
fighting into it. They do. My great grandma, yeah.
I mean, if you're a billionaire,
she's on the neck on her name, instead of.
Get your money, girl.
No, they can have that shit. I do not want to be part of the billionaire booty club.
Part of me wants to go to England and be like, so which crown is mine? Where's my inheritance? But
my daughter is half British. Like her, yeah, that's my ex-husband from there. He lost his accent.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Scottish Highlands are part of Appalachia. They go over Greenland. That's a whole, other stuff, Iceland, all that. into North America. So that's very interesting. Appalachia is fucking wild. It's a wild place. Um, and listen, I gotta run soon because I gotta
Wow,
get on this
Felicia.
call. I'm loving this, Kresha. Can we do this
I
again?
am too. Oh man,
We can gossip about it all, you guys.
I like this.
I mean, Lauren, like she tries to be all fucking professional, and I
Yeah,
try to be somewhat professional with my research, but I'm not. I'm not a journalist. I don't want to be part of Operation
right.
Mockingbird, Warren.
You're just a YouTube creator.
We're
Just a
just
simple.
YouTubers. I'm like, when she said that to the cop, like, I'm a real journalist. I was like, oh my god, how embarrassing, Lauren.
Right.
Like,
Well, true crime is true. She told a freaking cop this true crime is true. He's like, I don't have to call it true crime. It's like calling the church true. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of weird shit.
the fact that she doesn't realize that everybody knows that the mainstream media lies, the fact that she doesn't even realize that and she still
Yes.
knows that is
No.
wild to me. I'm like, you are so fucking clueless, Lauren. Like, that's embarrassing. Okay, I gotta tell you guys before I gotta hop off because I got another call at 3, but so CNN had reached out to me once for some like information with some of my research, and I was like, that's
They wanted to
embarrassing.
control
I
it.
was like, I don't want to be associated with you guys. Like, I know Lauren would be so
Got the
jealous of
cooties.
that, wouldn't she? She'd be so jealous of that. But I was like, I don't, no offense, but nobody takes y'all seriously. I'm like, y'all the Clown News Network. So anyway,
Susan Hendricks, I'm telling you, man. Oh man. Have y'all real quick, have y'all seen those channels pop up, covering remember when Diddy was going on?
yeah,
And you have these channels just pop up and they play all day, every day, just all the greatest hits basically from the occult true crime.
yeah,
And so I'm seeing that again a lot lately. So I'm like, boy, they're in full force right now. They're
full
in
force.
full force.
Full fucking
So
force. And right now, why hasn't American mainstream media asked you guys this question? Why haven't it the biggest news right now are the Epstein emails? Why aren't they talking about it? It's because
even
they're
the
Operation
Guthrie case,
Mockingbird.
I've got my reservations on all kinds of shit going on over there. Just and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very she wears a lot of the chain link,
Hmm.
which is Operation Underground Railroad uses that symbology. So did Chad's either Chad or his attorney prior at his trial. His presentation was
Yeah.
with freaking chain links. I'm like, yeah, you can't make this shit up.
You can't make it there. They have to tell you guys because consent is the name of the game. They have to show you their language and open in the open arena. And if you don't look it up, if you don't question what they're wearing or saying or doing, and by doing that, I'm not doing hand signals, guys. I'm just animated as I'm saying that.
Me too.
I
Me
don't know
too.
hand signals, but if you're not, if you don't look it up, that's your fault.
Yep. And so next time your iPhone goes to update, y'all better I'm gonna read it too. We might be signing all kinds of shit over.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Same with your computers. I mean, there's a reason why
Yes.
what Mark Zuckerberg had a thing over his camera. I mean, yeah. So anyway,
Mhm.
you guys,
Yeah.
I think that we need to do this again very, very soon. I have to hop off because I've got another thing at 3. I'm so bummed because I'm having so much fun. I forget we're actually filming Kresha because
I know.
we're just talking with our friends right now. We're gossiping.
I could do this all the time, man. We need to have like a marathon. A
We
9
do,
we want
we
it'd be
do.
8 hours. 9.
I need to, you know what I'm going to do? Is I do want to bring Larene in as well because she's so funny and
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I
she
hate that she has to leave
she
and
knows the
go to the real
symbolism.
world.
She knows the symbolism of like what you and I are not symbolism, but she might know we see the symbolism. She might see the nuance that we miss because I've
Mhm.
never been in a Mormon ward. Like I don't know. So I'm just a
Yeah, I
Presbyterian from
agree.
Georgia, you know? So
I'm a little too embarrassed to go over it, like, I see it and I talk about it, but I'm like, "Oh, man," I might need to just do that with my members
Lorene
and just
is
kinda break me in.
yeah, Lorene is I have so much in any Mormon, ex-Mormon, because of the stress you guys are under, like I don't go to church anymore, but I haven't lost my family. My mama still texts me every day.
Right.
I'm
It doesn't
still my
revolve
nephew's
around it.
godson, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm my nephew's godmother, right? Like my family doesn't give a shit, you know.
Lauren turned my godfather against me.
That
That was
is,
wild, man. I'm still
I'm
like,
sorry
"What?"
about that. That was
It's
that
crazy. He's
you
in a
bitch,
cult.
Lauren. Yeah, I can't.
Oh,
I have to say, I love I sis you. I watched you that day
she's on point.
on Kresha's channel when you told some of your story. You are the
Yeah.
coolest lady. You're great. All y'all, as we say in the South, all y'all are great. We have a great chat going. And
Your mom and them. That's what we say. Your mom. How's your mom and them?
oh yeah, how y'all doing? Y'all come
Yeah.
back, drive safely.
Exactly.
So I would love. I'm gonna text you. I'll text you and talk to. We can maybe find a time. Are you cool on the weekends, like a
Oh
Saturday?
God, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna text.
Especially on Sundays. But I have my live stream on Sundays.
I
Yeah,
have
Sunday
I work
evenings.
on Sundays for the most part, but I will talk to Larene. We'll plan a marathon where we can just go through like everything, y'all, and we'll let you guys we can
Yeah.
simulcast it and all that kind of stuff, so we can get
We
everything
can take turns pulling up questions or something.
right. And we're
You
not going to
know,
let this go, Lauren, Doctor Babe,
I might. I don't
Doctor
know.
Lynn. Like I just we the only
I'm
handsome
kidding.
one. Look at this. The
I
only
just have had a lot to say after her 9-hour live, man. She opened up a freaking floodgate, man. I've been there. You go. Oh my God, yes, I love it. Firewater by design. Yeah,
um
you're my kind of people.
yes, yes. So when I've been stalked, I have literally been stalked. I had to go to the actual criminal court took it over, not civil court, criminal court took it over.
Right.
And the whole
You
time
didn't
listening
drop
to
it, right? Even if you
they
did, they pick it
it
up.
wasn't me, it was them.
Yep.
There was a stalking case. They
Mhm.
indicted her, right? My stalker.
Yep.
And the whole time I was listening to Laura, I'm like, this doesn't sound like stalk. Like none of this happened to me. Like this sounds like you're having a nervous breakdown. But you guys, I will definitely. We're gonna do this again because this is so.
I love it.
I'm just having fun too. Like
It's
fuck
gotta
y'all.
be a weekly thing for sure somewhere, or
Let's
at
do
least
it.
about, every 2
Let's
weeks or
do it.
something.
Let's do it. And you guys, for all the Exmos in here, we respect the hell out of you for being brave enough to leave your
Big time.
culture and to take the hits, to take to take the consequences. And
Yeah.
and you know what? Maybe we should
And
make it
find community outside of Mormonism.
yeah,
It's healthy. It's way, we're not bad people.
yeah.
Not
I
all the
want to
way.
make a T-shirt that says "Outer Darkness is the place to be," or like all the cool kids go to outer
Right?
darkness. You know.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys. So if you are on my channel tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m., my business
Wow.
partner and I are. She lives in Australia, so that's like 7:30
Okay.
p.m. for her. We're going to be doing a live where we're going to be addressing. Cause we have a Fusion Buddy Studio. That's our online business. We're going to be addressing the Epstein
Is it not cold fusion?
email. Although I have done cold therapy
We're
before.
betting you. We're
I
betting
know,
you.
right? No, we're gonna be addressing the Epstein emails and our stance as a business, and that we do not support any type of abuse and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to join us for that, that'll be at 6:30 in the morning though. So I don't know if he's gonna be. That'll be like 5:30 for you, Kresha. But if you've watched the replay, that will be up. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have. I'm going to be filming with Catherine Edwards and Kathy O'Brien on Friday. I'll let you guys know once that's going to be a pre-record. So once that's up, I will let you guys know as well. I really want to introduce Kresha to Kathy O'Brien as well. If you guys don't know, she is a survivor of SRA.
She's like the rock. She's like the top of the hierarchy.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
has.
like she's been saying and talking about her story for a long time, and way before I came around to this kind of stuff. So
She's like
I
Sergey
appreciate
Monash.
everybody. Huh?
And you guys, she's like Sergey Monash. She's been doing it one time when people did not know.
Oh yeah, that's like your friend or the guy you were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
the French Canadian.
French Canadian. And
Yeah,
this is just two. I've given I got more, everything's divided into little pamphlets, guys. This one's really fascinating. This is the one we're going through because it right now, because it goes through like the whole Albert Pike and
damn
like
it.
all sorts of
My
stuff.
my obsession has become the whole project mocking. I need to go look at that actual, look and see what it was. But
Project Mockingbird.
yeah, because I'm obsessed with like the media and the narrative spinning, and because I mean it's at play
Is it
everywhere. A lot of these people hire firms and stuff. In fact, Lauren's friend who filled out, Sarah, who worked for Mitt Romney's campaigns, who was her roommate, but is alleged, according to my source, to be writing Lori in prison. And then, but holding memorials for the children and being friends. You know what I mean? It's weird and it's
Yeah.
very enmeshed,
I
and I
would
don't like
definitely
it.
look
And I
up
didn't know about it.
because Project Mockingbird, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore, guys. They actually
Mhm.
released it in the Senate in the 1970s and admitted to it. Basically, our whole media is manufactured. You can actually go
And
onto
owned.
YouTube and you can put in Project Mockingbird, and people have taken like different news stations and clipped them together. They're all saying the same script.
That tripped me the hell out when I
Yep.
saw that.
That and
And
it
I
comes,
listened to CrimeCon, Glenn Beck's connections to it, Fox, like
yeah,
all that Red Seat media. Like, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
it's
It's a network and it
it's all
webs. It
owned by the
webs.
same six families, and they're as George
Mhm.
Carlson says, they're all in one club, and we ain't in it. It comes from Operation. So Project Mockingbird is an offshoot of Operation Paperclip,
Okay.
which
I did
is
not know that.
crazy. That's the Yahtzees.
I like
Yeah,
how you say that instead.
Yahtzees. I
Well, I didn't
actually,
know about
um,
it.
but
And
this is a
Netflix, we will not let it go.
I'm going to hold this up on the screen so you guys can see. I cannot put this up on YT because YT is like, and we're closing your channel down.
Makes sense.
So it's over on Substack. I've gone through a lot of the paperwork over on Substack and on RUMBLE as well. So, but you guys, you can just order it for yourself, these documents.
That's
And
awesome.
RIP Sergey, they took his kids away from him because he started homeschooling in the 90s because he was afraid. And then they arrested him for interfering with like public knowledge or something for basically using his freedom of speech in Canada. And then he died of a heart, like, I mean, I think it was Operation Bluebeam is like the heart guns as well. So I think they took him out with the
Yeah.
exact equipment he was trying to warn us of. He talks about chipping in here. He has one book
Wow.
over these, the Pokety Pokes. But unfortunately, all I can find is it's in French. It was never, from what I see, I can't find an English copy. It looks like he never got around to translating it. And my French is not so good. Maybe Kresha, you're in Louisiana. Maybe you can understand.
Bonjour, comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci. Et vous? I flunked freaking French.
Just
I
as good
don't
as
say.
it got.
I like Spanish is where I was. I was like pantalones, el gato, a beso
Like,
de culo. You know,
bonjour. That's
I
what
learned the I learned the cuss words, man.
I am. So, well, if we have any French speakers, if you get the hand on the like pokety poke one and you can translate it for old Sergey, because he kind of talks about that a little bit, like the chipping, but he goes deeper into another, and he has like printouts of documents in here. He goes into like the Rothschilds and like their
Real
whole,
receipt.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. So I would absolutely, you guys, we owe a lot. We have a lot to thank Sergey Manas for, because I don't know if we would be where we are today with our knowledge if it wasn't for Sergey Manas. He kind of kicked the ball into play for us here in the American
Yeah.
continent.
Just me is very smart and says, "Can't you use AI to translate?"
Oh,
Yes.
that's right. I didn't even think about that.
I could not right.
I'm like I'm
Mhm.
an elder. I'm considered an elder millennial. I'm
Me too.
1983.
Oh, I'm 1978, so,
Well, I think you're kind
Carter
of in that
Carter
millennial.
was president when I was born.
I think you're kind of in
Or
that
wait, was it Carter?
of
I
an
don't know.
elder millennial, but I always say I'm more like a boomer because
I'm a
I know
boomer.
how
I'm a
computers
baby boomer. I'm
are.
a little one.
So, but anyway, yeah, we probably can't get anyway. I just didn't think about it.
I need
I
Social
still know how to
Security.
use the Dewey Decimal System. I still know how to check a book out for the
I
library.
hated Dewey Decimal System. It sucked. So, you
So,
can have it.
all right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out because I got another call in like 4 minutes. But
We
Kresha,
can't
this
talk.
was
I'm just gonna leave. That way I don't even hang
girl.
you up because I will do it.
I'm gonna try to. I'll text you. We'll figure something out with
So
Larene.
long,
Thank
goodbye.
you
All
so
right.
much for being here. We love you all. Fist pump
Thanks.
for the peasants, and
Bye,
we love
guys.
you all.
Thanks,
We'll
Mod.
talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Toodles.